Let me turn up my volume really fast, make sure I can hear you. Hello.
Hi. I hope I'm not. Tell me if I'm loud. Am I super loud?
I mean, I have my volume all the way up, so yeah, but I don't know. I guess it depends on people's volumes.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm just saying, like, compared to you, I don't want to be sounding like I'm yelling, and I don't do a lot of lives. And I got a new phone, and
Oh,
I heard a recording, and it sounded like I was like God or something. I was yelling. So I don't want to do that. I'm trying to figure out how to talk into it.
okay. People are saying you sound good.
Okay, good. I'm gonna try not to raise my voice because I talk loud anyway, but I'm like holding my phone back. And all right. So anyway, thanks for inviting me onto your live.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I'm glad to discuss with you.
Yeah, and we had discussed in private messages, which earlier people were like, "Oh, we're gonna make lists," and I was like, "I actually think that's a creative idea and a good idea." Um, and so we wanted, like, the first thing we talked about is I wanted to talk about the chromosome disorder and the microdeletion. Um, I have some thoughts. I know you have some thoughts. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? How would you like to do it?
No, I'm gonna let you start. And then the other thing I wanted to say is my agenda here, or my little list, is just I have a list of things that I wanted to talk about that are like in the anti community. I think that they're not true. Like basically, I want to just show proof of different things that are rumors because I hope that anyone that follows this case probably wants to know, include all of us want to know what is out there, like what does the evidence show, what's documented, things like that.
Okay.
So that's what I've got.
Okay, sounds good. So what I was gonna start with is like me and you have had private conversations, and basically you were saying in the message, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you were saying Becca Scoops had said something about they knew early on, and even you had said it as if it was your own knowledge. I'll read the quote that way I don't misquote you. Um, you
And I'm going to have to tell you if I said it wrong because I think I didn't say that I know it, but I said that that's my feelings too. But yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, you said the only reason they ever found out was she had is because Dee Dee kept talking her to or taking her to doctors repeatedly whenever she was born. They knew she had a micro or not a microdeletion, a chromosome disorder, and all of the symptoms that Dee Dee reported were known symptoms of a chromosome disorder back then. And you and I went back and forth actively on this conversation. And my main thing was I've not seen any proof that anybody knew she had a chromosome disorder back then, especially doctors. And whenever you say they, I'm assuming you mean doctors. Am I
I don't.
incorrect to assume?
No, I don't see any proof of that either at all. Becca was the one and see, Becca, I feel like is kind of the ringleader in all this. I mean, I know Fancy's the one who threw selective medical records out, but no, she didn't include any records at all. She didn't include any records before 2000 period. But like, no, Becca was the one who said in her last video, she said it over and over. She said it like three times that doctors knew that Gypsy had a chromosome disorder because she had microcephaly when she was born, the small head size.
Mm-hmm.
And, Becca's a psych nurse, but everybody seems to think that Becca knows everything about medical stuff. So I just took it and ran with it. I said, hey, that makes sense to me, and I'm kind of going to take it and run with it.
So here's what I'm struggling with on the conversation we had. So another comment or in that comment, you were saying she took her child to the doctor repeatedly for those things. With that being said, how is anybody in the positive Gyp verse, I guess is what y'all call it, or Gyp stands, how do y'all see that as neglectful and abuseful or abusive when at the end of it, it resulted in she got the diagnosis she needed so that she would know, like going forward in the future with having kids, she needed to know that. So in my mind, her mother was proactive and vigilant in ensuring that those tests happened. Do you disagree or do you still see it as neglectful and abuseful or abusive? I don't know why I keep saying abuseful.
Well, the reason I see it as abusive is because the whole thing started with number one, sleep apnea, which I've got one of the, I actually, if I can find it, I just tried to get all my screenshots ready for this live, but there's a study that was way later in her life, and she showed no evidence of sleep apnea. Well, at 3 months old, she had a sleep apnea. She had her with a CPAP machine, And not only that, and then Skip, we don't even know what happened for years, because we don't have any records of it or anything. All we could go by is Gypsy's word, and I don't go by Gypsy's word because I don't think that's convincing to the anti-Gypsy community, and I don't think it's authentic to the evidence to do that. I think it should just be about evidence, because Gypsy's word isn't what, the court went by. It's just Gypsy's word is not proof of anything. Nobody's word is proof of anything, really. But so my thing was the whole preface of everything was the wheelchair, and that was what really got me. Is it was like, okay, to put a kid in a wheelchair, I can't imagine. I had a somewhat abusive childhood, and I went outside and rode my bike and different things just to cool off and get away. And I can't imagine putting an able-bodied child in a wheelchair. So my whole thing was this: when you're starting it off by bringing her in a wheelchair, telling the doctor she's been paralyzed since birth, and then you repeatedly take this kid in for tests and things like that, that's where I come off with the abuse.
Okay, and we'll get to the wheelchair for sure, but I want to kind of try to stick selectively like to starting and then building, if that makes sense. That way everybody's not everybody, me and you aren't jumping from topic to topic. The sleep apnea, there were tests done. Even her grandpa said on the deal that she wasn't breathing at night as a young child and a baby. That's sleep apnea. And then I sent you the screenshot where it says they're not diagnosing it as sleep apnea, but essentially, I'm not going to use all the medical terms because I don't have it right in front of me, but I sent it to you, where they say she is choking on her sleep at night, and that is causing sleeping issues. So to call it sleep apnea is questionable in itself, I will agree, but maybe mom didn't know how to be like, well, she has a CPAP machine for choking, like there's a lot of things in there such as that, but we do have confirmation from grandpa's word, not just medical forms, that she was having the troubles breathing as a baby, and we have the test that shows she was choking. So that's not untrue to say that she had some form of sleep issues.
I don't think we have anything that says she was choking as a baby, though, right?
No, we only have grandpa's words on that.
Okay, and let me
Actually,
speak on
hold
that
on.
for a minute, because
Co- Sorry.
Grandpa's words actually say that she didn't need a feeding tube and she ate at the table with them. And people discount Grandpa's words all the time. I don't. So what I say to you is I agree. He did say he heard that machine go off. He did say that.
Yeah, and let's take back, there is a baby picture of her with the crib and there's the machine in there. So there's proof that she was actively given one. But with that,
Oh, I believe that 100%.
it
100%.
shows it does show on her medical file she can eat. They never said she cannot eat at all. It shows she's eating. So I don't know where people are getting. I don't know if something was said at some point, like by another creator or something, but it does say in her medical file, Gypsy can eat. She's just struggling with some swallowing. That doesn't mean that a person can't eat. And a feeding tube is not only given for not being able to eat.
Right. And her pediatrician also, when he goes through the records after the after the fact, he says that the feeding tube, it was not necessary, and he couldn't believe they did that. But I'll go back to what the grandpa says, which is she ate at the table with us, whatever we were eating, French fries, and I think that's all he said. But French fries aren't mashed potatoes, you know what I mean? And they're not, they're crunchy. I mean, you don't use them. I recently had an esophageal problem, and it's like you go on a soft food diet. French fries aren't included in that category at all.
But to include French fries with, say, a piece of fried chicken is not a fair comparison because babies without
I
teeth
mean, I
can eat
guess,
French fries.
yeah, maybe, but maybe they were eating ham. I mean, what else would you have with French fries? You'd have fried chicken, or you'd have, a hamburger. I mean, what are you going to have with French fries? Like, what do you think they had? I don't think they had mashed potatoes with French fries. I doubt it. That'd be two sweet
Maybe she
potatoes. I
only
mean,
ate the French fries. Grandpa never said
no,
any
he
other
said
food.
he says she would eat whatever we're having at the table, French fries, and I don't know what he said, French fries and everything else or something like that. He said whatever we were having.
Well, yeah, you don't know what else they were having though. Like I said, you could have a lot of things that she could have easily broke down. You
Like
could
what? Like what
What?
would be something like a mashed potato consistency that you're thinking? Because you're thinking they're talking about she can only eat mashed potatoes, and she ate them in all these different colors, is what Dee Dee told the doctors.
No, Dee Dee said that she refuses to eat anything other than mashed potatoes. That's much different than saying she can only eat mashed potatoes.
I never saw that. I'm gonna have to look it up because I did not see that. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm gonna look at it. I definitely didn't see that, but I
If
will
you,
look it up and I will post it tomorrow.
yeah, if you look, she says that
Either way,
she will only eat mashed potatoes and that she has to color them. Like she puts food coloring in them so that it's creative. Basically, she says that she was a picky eater.
okay. Let me look at it. I'll look at it for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, what we were saying with the micro deletion before we went into the sleep apnea, I wanted to finish discussing that. Well, if Dee Dee said it, it must be true. I'm just saying that's what it says. Maybe, yeah, maybe her cooking was ass. I'll agree with that. I've been in
No,
houses like that.
now I have to ask you something because if we're going to refer back, I had no idea we were going to refer back to our private DMs, but are we? Is that what we're doing? Because I didn't even make any copies of them. And I can't access them when I'm on live at all.
No, I just wanted to be able to quote that to make sure that I didn't misquote you whenever I brought this up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's good. I just wanted to make sure because I don't have any of those at all from where I'm at right now. I can't see them.
Yeah, that's fine. No, like I said, I did that just so that I could be like, hey, I want to say what you said, but I don't want to misquote what you said. Like we were just discussing the chromosome disorder, chromosomes and microdeletions coexist. And what I mean by that is a chromosome disorder is the whole chromosome is either missing, translocated, duplicated, inverted, etc. So a deletion of a chromosome it's a larger scale of what we're seeing with Gypsy, a micro deletion. And a lot of people go to the argument of her mom must have known. But the thing is with that is a chromosome disorder thank you, is an umbrella term. It's an umbrella category. It can result in so many different things. And I've said this repeatedly on my lives, that's like calling a car, a truck, or an SUV a vehicle. You're not wrong, but you're not specific. With that being said, a microdeletion is very, very specific, and its cluster of symptoms are very specific. And the fact that a lot of people say she fabricated these symptoms based off of the the chromosomal disorder is mind-boggling because it is so unlikely, statistically, it's very unlikely that she would be able to fabricate every single cluster of symptoms that fall under that specific micro deletion.
Let me tell you what's interesting to me about it. When Becca said that about the chromosome disorder, I looked up. Well, I told you this, and then I did it again because I didn't have the actual search at the top. And I understand why you wanted to see the search. That makes sense. I would too. I'd be like, well, what'd you do? Manipulate the search? You know what I'm saying? So I didn't ever find the first one that I had come up with, and I don't know why. It's really frustrating me. But anyway, what I did was I put in what are common symptoms among chromosome disorders, and the interesting thing is, every single symptom that Dee Dee said she had is common among chromosomal disorders when you do that search. So you're right. The micro deletion that she has does have all these different specific symptoms, and obviously nobody's affected by all of them, or maybe some are. They're all affected differently. But it was interesting to me that a chromosome disorder period, when you look for that, those have been known for years. The first micro deletion was discovered in 1980, but the chromosome disorders, that's been a long time. I didn't research that, to be honest. I don't know how long they've known about chromosome disorders, but chromosome disorders, if you say what are common among chromosome disorders, every symptom that Dee Dee told the doctor she had comes up in that list. That was what was interesting to me.
Yeah, and like I said, that's a Google search list. That's fine and all. But what I'm saying is literally all of them align to this specific micro deletion. And there's not extra thrown in symptoms. And statistically, if let's say Munchausen by proxy, you're going to throw in multiple symptoms and not hit it right on the target every single time, which does bring me to what you had brought up, seizures and paralysis. First off, the seizure, according to medical files, was noted during a surgery and she was paralyzed after the surgery, which is actually, it's not super common, but it is common. I had it happen with my own son to where he was literally paralyzed for 5 days after. He didn't go through a surgery though. He had had a bad seizure. So it's not uncommon. And so I don't look at that with great suspicion because I have personally experienced it and I understand why others would look at it if they had not experienced it to know that that is an actual thing. But with that being said, whenever you are paralyzed, I was talking about this earlier, you do still have feeling in your legs. My ex-father-in-law, he was paralyzed from his chest down, and he would tell me all the time, his legs, his waist, his ass cheeks, his toes, everything tingled like they were asleep. So whenever Gypsy says, well, I still had feeling at 6, she may have had tingling and stuff and not actually been able to walk at that point.
Yeah, I
And
agree. And I
and
have to say one thing really. Oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
I just want to say one thing. When it's noted in the medical records, I don't, I kind of remember, I don't know if I remember seeing that to be honest, but
Oh,
when it talks about the seizure making her paralyzed, you got to remember that's not an actual medical, it's not a document of a test or the procedure itself. It's what Dee Dee was telling the doctors had happened in the past. Kind of like she told them she has muscular dystrophy, she had leukemia, she's got, you know what I mean? So that wasn't something that the doctor said we just did a test and now she's paralyzed. That was when she was 6 and the medical records we don't even have, Fancy didn't let us see any medical records until 2000. So she would have been 9. So that would have been long after that. It wouldn't have been during the time they did the test.
I'm sorry. What did you say in 2000? I was getting a lot of notifications. Apparently, people are being ignorant in the chat. I don't know what is happening, but I've asked everybody to please be respectful. I understand there are people here from both sides of the alley, but I feel like we can be respectful adults to one another. So please do that. Sorry. What did you say about
Yeah,
2000?
guys, let's don't get her live reported. I mean, let's just calm down. Let's be nice to each other, respectful of each other. So no, I was just saying that the medical records that we have available, the ones that Fancy chose to release, she released only from 2000 to 2007. Then she released another set in 2013. I think it's like I want to say 12 pages. It's about the microdeletion, but the ones they only start when she's 9 years old. So we don't have any actual tests or anything like that that show what happened when she was 6 in the medical records. It's just what Dee Dee told the doctors.
Okay, and Fancy has addressed this that that's all she has. However, I do want to point out Fancy has put out more. I'm sure you've seen them. With that
Now
being
she's
said,
saying
go ahead.
200 is all she has now.
No, no, no. 2000 and up is all she has. She's only released the 200 and something pages, but she only has 2000 to 2000. Oh, she just said in the comments, she's released 267 pages. They're from 2000 to 2013. So 13 years worth of pages.
But not all of them. She's not releasing complete records. We can agree on that. She's
Yeah,
releasing whatever
she
she
said
wants to
that.
release. Okay.
Yeah, let's call Christy by her name. Let's be respectful. I can agree with that.
And one thing
Um,
I wanted to say real quick, Audrey, I posted this little medical record up here because it says no evidence of significant. Now I can't even read it because it's so small.
Significant central sleep apnea obstruction, sleep apnea, or nocturnal hypoxia, the carbon dioxide. But if you look down, so I have that same photo. Let me go
I
to it.
think I got that. I think I got that from you. Actually, I didn't even look it back up again.
Yeah. Yeah, and what I had highlighted in there is Dr. Carla Brown, clinic, blah 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 blah. Possible of litigation, the parotid ducts and or removal of accessory salivary glands to try to reduce the load of saliva and thus decrease her problem with pulling and secretions, because the pulling and secretions is what was obstructing her sleep.
Okay, I'm not question. What I'm saying is that I'm just saying that there was no sleep apnea because that's repeatedly said in the medical records. The salivary glands,
It
we can
is
talk about that. We can talk about that.
it is considered a form of sleep apnea if it's obstructing your sleep, though.
I wonder why the doctor said that it wasn't. That's strange to me. I don't know. I mean, I guess I would probably tend to go by what the doctor said, but I don't know. You could be right.
Yeah, any form of something that is obstructing your, somebody said it's not. Okay, let's ask Chat GPT. I hate to do that, but it's a simple way to
I
get a
hate to
quickie.
ask Chat GPT anything. Why don't you ask Google? I'd almost rather use Google. I don't like either
Okay,
one of them, but
what do you want me to type specifically? Is choking on drool secretion, let's put that word since that's what it uses. Secretion in sleep considered sleep apnea?
yeah. And the other thing I want to mention about that I noticed is that it's funny because she puts the sleep apnea machine on her when she's 3 months or whatever, and then we don't even see her claiming to doctors that she is choking on her saliva till she's around, I want to say, 12 or 13. So if her daughter's been choking on saliva and that's the reason for her sleep apnea, why wouldn't you report that your daughter's choking in her sleep? I mean, for what? How many years is that? I think I would tell the doctor. I'd tell the doctor that night. Maybe even go straight to the ER. My daughter's waking up choking in her sleep. That would make me nervous. If I was as a concerned mom, that would make me very nervous.
But that goes back to, and I know you said we don't have the medical file, but we have the image of her having the sleep machine as a baby and all that. So it's possible that they just hadn't done the test to see, like looking at the glands themselves to see if that was what was causing the choking and all that, because she was having sleep issues. So it is.
Well,
And
I'm
right
saying, why
here,
didn't she tell the doctor? Why didn't she tell the doctor her daughter was choking for all those years? If her daughter was choking on saliva and that's why she's not sleeping, you'd think she would say, "My daughter's waking up at night choking. It's freaking me out."
maybe she didn't realize that that was because of pulling, is what I'm saying. Like maybe she
I know,
was
but
getting
I'm
her.
saying I don't care why my kid's choking. If my kid's waking up choking, it doesn't matter to me whether it's salivary glands or sleep apnea. It doesn't matter. I mean, it could be that they got up in the middle of the night and I don't even know. Like if my kid's choking at night over and over again, I'm not going to wait till they're 13 years old to tell the doctor they're choking.
That's what I'm saying, is maybe that's what she was saying, is she's choking in her sleep and they thought she was choking on her air and not her spit. So we're
And
kind
they
of
never
saying the
noted
same
it.
thing.
But I think at 9 years old that all this other stuff's noted in the medical records. I mean, why wouldn't she be telling these doctors, listen, my daughter's waking up choking at night when she's 9, 10. Why didn't she say anything?
That's what I'm saying, is maybe she did say she was choking, but they took it as choking
It's
on
not in
air.
there. It's not in there.
Well, we don't have before 2000, so we don't know, is what I'm
I
saying.
know I'm saying in 2000 it's not in there. It's not in there until like maybe '04 or something. She was like 13 when they started talking about her choking in her sleep.
Fancy's in here. She's saying it's there from 2000. Fancy, if you go to the 200-page document, can you tell me which page it is so I can pull it up?
Okay, Audrey, I just want to say something, Audrey. Fancy has blocked me out of lives and refuses to speak to me, and I'm not going to sit here with Fancy coming. If Fancy's comments are going to be, Fancy has blocked me. She won't speak to me, and if she's going to come in your comments and she's going to get, you know what I mean. I'm not gonna deal with Fancy. I'm sorry. I'm not going to deal with Fancy.
She's not being
She's too.
hateful. She just said it is in the file, so I
I
asked her
know,
what
but
page.
what I'm saying is that Fancy will not even let me be in the comments stating facts. She'll have people blocked me out of live. She's done it repeatedly. And now she's coming in here. I don't know how she even got it. I don't even know why she's here.
Because we're
But I
discussing.
don't,
Either way,
I mean, the fact is,
let's get back to the sleep apnea question before we get all distracted and arguing over somebody that's in my chat.
yeah,
Okay,
I don't want Fancy's opinion on anything.
so right here, I'm going to read it to you. It says, while choking on secretions can be a symptom of sleep apnea, it is not a direct consequence of the condition itself, which I never said it was a consequence. I said it can cause it. So that's what it's saying. It can be a cause of it, but it's not a consequence. In other words, sleep apnea doesn't cause you to choke. Choking can be considered sleep apnea, though. And I got right there from
Can you
Google.
enter? Would you mind entering that question specifically? Would you say, can choking be considered sleep apnea?
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Can choking be considered sleep apnea? Yes. Hold
Okay.
on. Let me turn off my light so you can see it. So it says, can you see that?
It's actually it's backwards. I can't read them when they're backwards.
Okay.
But that's
It
the way it
says,
always is on lives.
waking up with the sensation of choking, gasping, or suffocation can be a symptom of sleep apnea.
It can be a symptom of sleep apnea. Okay, but it can't be a cause. It says that.
Yeah, I had
And
already
it
said
also
that.
says, right, and then in the document it says she does not show evidence of sleep apnea. So I would refer back to the doctor saying she doesn't have evidence of sleep apnea. And we can go into I mean, I'm not saying that the salivary gland thing, the choking and the salivary gland thing, I'm not talking about that. I know, but I'm talking about, it says right here that she doesn't show any evidence of sleep apnea.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And this is what I was kind of like frustrated with whenever we were chatting is you're acknowledging it's a symptom. And it says right here, in order to stop the symptom, they're going to remove the salivary gland to stop the sleep apnea. If they remove the salivary gland and she is no longer choking, she no longer has the symptom of sleep apnea. That's what I'm saying.
I know, but this is before the salivary glands were removed and the doctor determined she was not diagnosed with sleep apnea. So even if choking can cause sleep apnea, in Gypsy's case it didn't because the doctor says it didn't.
When were the glands removed? Do you have that date on your hand?
No, I don't think so. I don't.
Do you have the date where it says no sleep apnea?
It says '04. It's right here in the document at the top. She was 13.
She's having symptoms of it. If they remove the gland, you no longer have symptoms.
No,
Let's
no,
put
no.
it
What I'm saying is this says that she does not have sleep apnea, and it was in 2004.
She is having a symptom of it. We just went over this. That's like saying somebody no longer has cancer because you removed the cancer. It's gone at that point. But their file 3 days before the surgery would still say they had cancer.
I'm not getting your logic. I'm saying if she has the symptom, but it doesn't align with the actual diagnosis, and it says no, we don't. That's not the diagnosis. Why does the symptom even matter anymore? It means yes, she was still possibly waking up choking. We don't know because Dee's the one who says that. But it means that the doctor tested and knows she does not have sleep apnea. So that symptom must be caused by something else. Possibly the salivary glands, I think is what you're saying.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. And it's right in front of you that they agree with what I'm saying is the symptom is what caused the problem. If the symptom is stopped, the problem doesn't exist. So it goes away.
They're not saying that in this record. They're saying that she's still choking.
Because she had not had her salivary glands removed at that point.
But they're saying she does not have sleep apnea. You're not acknowledging the fact that the doctor says right here she doesn't have sleep apnea.
She has a symptom of it. I would like Gypsy to come back and have the modified barium swallow with speech therapy done to better assess her swallowing function. I would like her
Yes,
to
because they want to figure out why she's choking because it's not sleep apnea. It's not causing, like if I said, okay, I stubbed my toe and I have symptoms that it's broken because this and that's happening. She has symptoms of a broken toe, but then they turn around and test it and they x-ray it and they say, no, your toe's not broken. So even though you had symptoms of a broken toe, we tested it and you don't have a broken toe. So they thought she had symptoms of it, but she doesn't have sleep apnea. It's something else.
Okay. We're going to agree to disagree on this because they're saying she has a symptom of it. So they wanted to do all these treatments. And at that meantime, while she had symptoms till they had an actual diagnosis, maybe they wrote it as sleep apnea. I can see that happening. But at the end of the day, once they remove the salivary glands, it removes the symptom, which would remove the diagnosis. It would remove the problem and it would cause the CPAP to no longer be needed.
Okay, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. It says she doesn't have sleep apnea here, so they already knew that. I mean, I don't know how you can argue it when it's right there, but that's fine. We can go on.
Okay.
We can move on.
Yeah, let's move on. What do you want to talk about next?
Are you done discussing the micro deletion altogether?
If you want to talk about other symptoms, we can, but we have to move on from this one because you're not willing to accept what's right in front of you. So that's okay. Like I said, we are going to have to agree to disagree.
Okay, let me ask you one question and then we'll get past this. Do you disagree, even though it says right here that she does not have sleep apnea, what you're saying is that she does have it, right?
What it says right here is no evidence of significant sleep apnea, obstruction sleep apnea, or nocturnal. It does not say no sleep apnea. In fact, it says the report from that study indicated that it was mildly abnormal with evidence of mild nocturnal hypoventilation. It's right above the purple part and the yellow that says that. So they're saying she does have a mild abnormal, which is mild sleep apnea caused by the choking. Let's remove the salivary glands to get rid of the problem.
Okay, I guess I can say that I don't see it as that, but I think that she had a mildly abnormal test is what I see that as. But
So that would be a
that's
positive.
fine.
Like she's positive for this bad result, mild or not. Correct?
You can go on, you're fine.
Okay. No, I'm asking, is that correct?
Well, I'm not going to keep arguing the same point. I don't want to just argue with you.
Okay. Okay. So what part of the microdeletion did you want to discuss next?
Microdeletion wasn't my thing. I have a list of things that are just different rumors that go through the anti-community that are proven to be incorrect. That was my list.
Okay, let's go.
So, you want to do that one?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, one of them is that I hear a lot is people talk about that the crime was that she was grooming Nick for 2 years to commit the crime, and or something. They'll say she was grooming him the whole time, and all that. And if you watch Nick's trial, it was 1 year. So she was with him almost 3 years. And my thought is that they both felt like they were in love. Like she didn't have anyone in her life but Dee Dee, and then she had Nick, who she was able to build a relationship behind Dee Dee's back. And the point is that in Nick's trial, both the prosecution and the defense confirmed that the planning of the crime was started 1 year before the actual crime happened, and we can also see that from the text. So that was the first one.
Wait, so is there
Let's
a
see what
question
else.
there?
No, I just wanted to state that in here in case you had a lot of listeners, because a lot of them have the perception that it was planned for 2 years, and you'll hear a lot of creators, oh, she planned this for 2 years. People come into my comments all the time and say, she planned this crime for 2 years. She groomed him for 2 years to do the crime and all that, and that's just not true. Basically, that's all that was.
But can I ask a
It's
question in regards to
Yeah.
that? Does it matter if she groomed him for 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 years, 30 years? Can you still
To
agree that
me,
she groomed him to commit this murder?
I don't agree that she groomed him, but I agree that they planned it for a year. And I guess what's significant to me about it is just that some people try to say that, they'll act like she didn't even love him, she didn't want a relationship with him and stuff like that. It was just all about she wanted to find somebody to commit this crime, and she sought him out, because of his autism. I've heard all kinds of things. And I disagree. I think what's significant is just to say there was over a year that they spent together communicating and doing their various things that they did, and it had nothing to do with the crime. It
Okay.
had nothing to do with planning the crime. She didn't even ask him until he said, I would, Kate, I don't know what word we can say on here, schmill for you. And then she said, even my mother, so it was like, it wasn't like she just got online and met him and said, hey, I have this plan to do this, this is what I want to do. My mom's a terrible person and whatever, it was like, she told her neighbor that she loved him and they were going to get married. They planned on trying to get pregnant. We all know that story, but we all know what happened by the text, that they were planning to do that first, plan A. But I guess that's why it's significant to me, is because it portrays it as a different relationship than what it actually was.
So it's not actually though, and the reason I'm going to say that is, let's just say hypothetically you have a 14-year-old girl who not 15, this 21-year-old reaches out to, and they talk and they become friendly, and suddenly that 21-year-old brings up Smex, kind of like Gypsy brought up Schmurder to Nick, and then they begin to talk about it. Would you say
She didn't
that
bring it
girl?
up though.
Can I finish?
Yes.
Yeah, she did. She brought it up to him first. Would you say
No,
that that
he said I don't know the word to use, but it's, let's say bill. I would bill for you. I would do anything for you. I would bill for you. And she said even my mother. So she did bring it up with relation to her mom, but he's the one who brought up the subject is all I'm saying. Go ahead.
he brought that up because Gypsy said, "Would you do anything for me?" or something along those lines, and that was his response. To that, she then said, "Even my mother?" And he said, "Yes." And from there, she built off of that. She built off of that one little comment because, again, like I was saying, if a 14-year-old and a 21-year-old, maybe that 14-year-old says, I would like to be a mother one day. And then that 21-year-old says, "With me as the father?" And she says, "Yeah." At that point, do you put the blame on the 14-year-old? No, you wouldn't. So you can't, like, I've told my husband I would go to hell and back for him. That's not an unusual-ish comment, especially for two slower people, I guess I would say, especially Nick. Like, you see that in movies and stuff. Yeah, I would kill for you. Okay. So again, it goes back to she's the one who brought her mother up as a potential target. And from there, she
I
continued
agree.
to build on that idea. And that is grooming at the end of the day.
I agree she was the one who brought it up, and all I'm trying to say is that they had a relationship, they wanted to get married, they wanted to have a baby, before any of that came up, that's what they were planning on doing. So yes, she did. It was her idea. She admitted it in court. There's no doubt about it. I'm not going to argue that at all.
So then that's grooming. You can you can
I don't
still
consider
follow
it to be
you can
grooming. I
still
mean,
follow go ahead.
if you've read the entire video document, which a lot of people haven't, he wanted to commit very violent crimes. So I don't think it's necessarily grooming at all. I mean, if he wants to commit all these violent crimes and commit schmurder on other people, then I don't think you're grooming someone who already wants to schmurder when you suggest who they should schmurder, is what
Okay,
I'm
but
saying.
let's go to his original interrogation prior to him being in prison. He says Gypsy is the only person he would have done this for. The only person. He does not give this whole, "Oh, I had this dark thing inside me." So, in my opinion, and again, just an opinion, his whole, "I had this dark thing inside me," a lot of people, whenever they're in prison, try to act like badasses. And I think
He
that
says it in his interrogation too. He says that in his interrogation as well, just so you know. He
when,
tells the detective that he has always had this, that something came, I think he even mentions that it came across when he was 14 years old, but he does tell her that he had that happen.
I'll go back and look because I've never heard that, but okay. If you say it happened, I'm going to take your word for it. I'm going to go back and look for I'm going to call it the dark passenger. I love me some Dexter. A dark passenger reference because I have only heard I would have never done it for anybody other than Gypsy.
Oh, I've heard that too, and I take that to mean because I feel like Nick has a good heart. I feel like he, for whatever, I think it was his upbringing that probably made him have whatever that. It might even be the devil, the dark thing that he saw in the mirror when he was 14. But I think that overall Nick has a kind heart, and I think that the fact of murdering someone's mother, he would never do for anyone but Gypsy. I do think, he said it many times in the videos that he wanted to murder other people. But I think that he would not have murdered a mother if it weren't for Gypsy, is what he's saying. That's what I take it as. Because he would obviously, from what he says in those videos, he would murder a woman to do this and that with her or whatever, but I don't
Well,
know. I mean,
and while we're talking about Nick, let me ask you, do you see Nick as a hero or as a villain?
I see him as more of a hero, probably.
Okay, do you agree with a lot of the people in the Gyp side saying that he is not a hero, that he's just this bad villain, including Gypsy herself that paints him that way too?
I don't see Nick as a villain. I see him as a hero. I think he was trying to save her life.
Okay, and then how does Gypsy go from a mastermind to she's just this poor victim?
I don't
Like,
think she went from I
you
think it's the opposite myself. I view her as a victim that turned into kind of the mastermind of this crime.
okay, that was about to be my next question is do you see her as both? Okay.
Yeah, I see her as being a victim for many, many years, and that resulted to murder. And I think that then she admitted she was the one who basically planned it. So yeah, I guess if you want to call that a mastermind, and I think a lot of people do, I would say both.
Well, that's the definition of a mastermind, is the person that plans it. So yeah, I would call her that.
Okay.
So, okay. And then, let's see, what else? What else did you want to discuss?
Okay, let's see. Oh, I don't know if anybody knows this or if everybody already knows this, but Gypsy did say, let me get a picture here. Hold on one second. Okay, this is just a couple months before the crime. Gypsy said, could we wait like 10 months for Plan B? And I think that gets overlooked. I think a lot on the anti side don't realize that. But she did ask Nick if they could wait 10 months for Plan B. And I think we all know that Plan B was the crime.
No, it wasn't. It was the pregnancy.
No, this is after. If you look at the text, this text is after they had already met.
She's talking about
And
her.
Plan B is the schmurder. I know that. I've been researching this for over a year and a half. I promise you. And I'm definitely 100% confident. I'll post it tomorrow. Plan B is the schmurder. If I don't know what plan did you think was the schmurder?
I don't recall. I think it was the last plan, like C. And I'm getting ready to
Plan
pull
what?
up. Hold on. I'm getting ready to pull up Greene County's documents, because in that they're talking about the removal of her tube and her saying that she didn't think she could get pregnant with it. And she asked, because it would have to come out, could you wait 10 months? Let's see. That's May 30th. Let's just scoop on down to May 30th and read the prior messages.
Dang it, I wish I could access I just got a tablet. I didn't know I know you wanted to get me on this live, but I'd like to have another live with you where I can prepare for a couple of days. I just pulled what I pulled together quickly, but yeah, I wish I could look at the text with you. I can't though. I don't have them on my new device.
That's fine. I can read them in order. Let's
Okay.
see. Plan B, let's get there. May 30th. Sorry, there's a lot of pages here. May 30th, May 30th. Okay, I'm on the 30th. What time is that? That'll make it easier. Is that 6:29 or 5:29?
I think it's 5, but I can't see it because I'm doing something else. I'll look at it in a minute.
Nope, okay, it's 6:29. So the conversation before that from Gypsy, part of me is really worried about my tube. What if we could take it, what if I could have it taken out being pregnant? And then he said, you said you would have it taken out. And she said, could you wait 10 months for Plan B?
Okay. That's fine. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but Plan B is the schmurder. So I guess what you're saying, are you trying to say, I really don't know what you're trying to say.
That they're
Are you trying to
talking
say
about a
that?
pregnancy.
No, but they might have been they obviously were talking about a pregnancy, but Plan B is schmurder.
Nope, I just looked it up right here on Google. Plan A, winning Dee Dee's approval. Plan B, right there, pregnancy. Plan C, like I said, murder. Plan C is murder.
I don't know, like I said I don't know about Google all the time, but well, you do know, is that an AI or is that a Wikipedia?
It's an AI overview. Let's see what their result is. Oxygen's official site is their source. And then, yep, Oxygen Official was the source.
I'm baffled by that. I don't know that to be true. For years I've believed Plan B was the murder, so I'm gonna have to get back to you. If you're wrong, I'm gonna post. I promise you this, and everybody in your comments, I'm gonna post tomorrow, because all I want is the truth on this case. Like I've told you, I'm gonna look it up tomorrow, and I'm gonna post anything I find, and I'm gonna say I was wrong, Audrey was right. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
That's
I
fair.
don't. I'm not gonna go with Google just because I've seen so much that made me feel like it wasn't. But I'm going to definitely admit that I was wrong if I was wrong, for
Why
sure.
are we talking
And it's
about
better for me to know that anyway.
Yeah, hold on. Sorry. I'm trying to figure out, what are y'all talking about Chat GPT in the chat for? I used Google. I didn't use Chat GPT. Words are hard. So, okay. Anyways, so What was your point with bringing that up originally? Whenever you did think that it was Schmurder, you thought that it was her
Because it
saying,
says
"Let's wait."
can we wait 10 months? The other thing too is based off of all the texts and everything, I have a really hard time that she was. I think if we got that in more context, I have a very hard time. Maybe even if we read shortly after that, I don't think she wanted to wait to meet him at the movie theater at all. I think that was something they were both in a rush to get together, and they wanted to do their thing in the bathroom and all that. I don't think she would have said, Can we wait 10 months for that?" But like I said, I'm going to look it up, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Okay, I'm looking really fast. People said that you could look it up on the documentary. Let's see.
Okay.
I'm going to see playback speed 2 times, see if it gets to it.
My mother and I had gotten into an argument 2 days before, and it was about my feeding tube. I'm like, I no longer need this feeding tube. Can we please have it removed? And she said no. And I had an upcoming surgery, and I didn't want to have it, so I said, please tell the doctor I don't need this surgery. I've had it 2010 before. Why do we have to have it again? And she's like, there's nothing I can do about it. The doctor wants it. And so I became very numb to Plan B. And I talked to Nick. He had me talk to Victor, who initially was the one that was going to do the murder. And he was like, Victor, please. And I said, Victor, will you please come tell my mother for me, because I can't do it myself.
She calls it Plan B here, but I've heard. Interesting. Okay, let's dig some more into this, because maybe she has said it both ways, because Plan B was a Schmurder, but it's also listed as the pregnancy, because she said Schmurder was the last plan. They wanted to try the other two first. What's the trial say?
Well, I know that Plan B was the last one, but I know that Schmurder was the last thing, but that's why I always thought, why was it Plan B if it was the last one? Like, I didn't get it, but I really believe it was Plan B. And when she says Plan A was winning Dee Dee's approval, my thought on that was that winning Dee Dee's approval was all about meeting him at the movie theater and getting her pregnant, and that was going to get Dee Dee's approval. That's my understanding, and that's the way I perceived everything. So, again, I'm not saying I'm right or wrong about it. That's my perception of it.
Okay. Somebody said it's in the. I'm just going to let this play over in the background and see. Does anybody know a timestamp for when it is? Because her testifying was an hour. We're not going to sit here and listen to an hour waiting for an answer to get to this question specifically.
Oh my gosh, I know. And you know what? I totally want to watch it again, because I watched it way back before when I was listening to Becca and I was believing Becca. And so I want to listen to it again, but it's so long. I'm like, oh my gosh. I want to listen to Nick's trial again too, and I've only listened to that a long time ago.
Right. I want to find this answer, but I don't know where it's at in here. How do I turn on closed captioning? That way I can fast forward some.
Are you on YouTube? Because it's up in the right on my YouTube if you just tap it.
Yeah, I just found it. Oh, I turned on the speed, not the closed caption. God damn it. Prior talks that we may have marriage. Nick ever talked about marriage? Yes. Okay. Why were you in a wheelchair? Yeah, this is going to take a while. So we'll reconvene, but I'm like 100% sure. I remember her saying, because like I said, she escalates to the last plan. If there was 3 plans, A, B, C in order. So Plan B is.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Whoever's right, are we going with snarky on our rebuttal, or are we just going to go straight up facts? I'm just joking.
It don't matter.
I'm messing around. I'm being silly.
No, it don't matter
teasing.
to me.
I'm just teasing.
I prefer snarky just because it's actually my personality.
I kind of do too, honestly. Like when I was talking back to you, I was like, oh, okay, we could have a little fun here, but yeah, I understand. I'm just messing around.
Yeah, and a lot of people in the chat are saying that they believe the answer is technically both of us are right. That it depends on what you look at.
Somebody said one and somebody said. What do you think of this, Audrey? Would you take what was, because I'm all about, like, I'm big on evidence. Everybody's like, oh, you're always talking about old stuff. You're not talking about emails. But it's like, would you take what was presented in Nick's trial as the final determination, or no?
Yeah,
because I think they talk about it in his trial, but I'm not 100% sure.
I would take her more serious there, just because she knew that if she lied under oath, she risked perjuring herself. So
I do too, and I would also say everybody had access to the evidence, so they would all know whether it was or wasn't. I think that's probably the best place to find our answer.
okay, then we'll go off of the trial. If anybody
Okay.
listen, if anybody knows the timestamp, let us know. I have it open on YouTube right now. I did stop playing it because it is distracting.
That'd be
So,
awesome to have the timestamp and not have to go through that whole stinking thing.
yeah. Oh,
Okay, so do you want me to go to my next one yet or no?
yeah, that's fine. I'm just going to look on TikTok. Let's see. I put Gypsy Rose Takes Plan trial.
Okay, so my next one is Gypsy was the one who committed the crime before Nick got there. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you a couple reasons. I think I actually just went through your videos because I've never gone through your videos. So right before this live, I was like, all right, I'm going to prepare as good as I can in, an hour or whatever. And so I went on and listened to some of your videos. So I'm not doing this to contradict you. It was already on my list. But the reason that I say that that's not true, that Gypsy was the one who did it, is because I'm a big forensic file. I mean, I watch probably every episode of Forensic Files there is, and I do a lot of, I look into a lot of true crime. Nothing deep dive like this except the Watts thing. But anyway, and Casey Anthony. But anyway, the reason why I say that is, number one, I've got the video posted. I think you might have seen it, but I don't know if you did, where Nick just walks through the whole crime and everything. And then I also definitely know there were forensic experts. And one of the problems I have is when everybody acts like, there were no, like, for some reason, there was no forensic examiner that could tell that, obviously Gypsy's 4'11", 100 pounds. So if she's wielding a knife, it's going to be completely different than Nick. They're going to be able to tell from that. They know they were both there. So there's no reason that they wouldn't be examining DNA and blood spatter and all that. As well as the angles and different things that people have argued. There's just no way they wouldn't have done that. And to say that they didn't, it kind of brings me to the thing where everybody says, well, the DA was crooked, the prosecutor was crooked, Dee Dee's family lied, and, the networks were fraudulent. And I mean, it just goes into like, it's like an extreme stance. I don't know if it's yours, but it's like every single person in this whole deal was a fraud and a liar. And I think that might come from all of a sudden people supported Gypsy so much, and then all of a sudden they realized, wait a minute, what she's saying is not lining up, like she's a liar. And then they went to, now everybody's a liar, is the only reason I can make sense of thinking that every single person was a liar. But, and I know that also it comes from his interrogation where he's like, I don't think anybody who's guilty of a crime is going to be totally... from what I've seen on the crime cases that I've followed, I've never seen anyone that was guilty be completely honest in an interrogation. He seemed unsure, and he did ultimately agree that, maybe it was more. But that's my stance on that.
okay. And so I want to acknowledge something really fast. I never said she did it before Nick was there. I did say that she has adamantly said several times the 9th, and then adamantly said several times the 10th. And per the text messages, it would have been the 10th. So that makes me wonder why she wouldn't know that it was the 9th unless she did start hurting her prior, whether it was hitting her, giving her too much insulin. I don't know. I know that's a theory. That's one that can't be proven. I've acknowledged that. Like, we can't prove that part. However,
yeah. They would know, even if it was, I'm sorry, even if they were both doing it at the same time. Again, it goes back to forensics, And the other thing is, like, I did it actually 2 nights yesterday. I did it. I was at I'm not going to say because it's private, but I was talking to a medical professional, and this has nothing to do with medical professionals. I'm just saying that's who I was talking to, and I said, "Are you talking about yesterday?" And she says, "Yeah," and I'm getting confused because I'm like, "Well, I thought it was today." And she keeps saying yesterday, and it's like 1:00 in the morning, and she's talking about the day before. Like, I'm still awake. I've been awake all day. And she's telling me yesterday, and I'm getting confused, like, because I'm thinking, I guess even at 1:00 in the morning, I'm still on today. Like, I've never gone to sleep, and neither of you, you know what I'm saying?
right.
So that was my whole thought on the 9th. And again, the thing is that the crime scene documents just basically say her last known time alive was, I don't know what it says. I don't even know the date. I think it says the 10th.
It says the 15th for
the
time
15th. Okay.
because that's when she was found. But what I was going to get to is I have been told, and I cannot confirm if this is true or not, but it's what I've been told, and it seems to line up, that there is autopsy information that has not been released because of Nick. And I tend to believe that because there's a lot of things that has not been fully released because Nick still has the options for appeals. Once those are exhausted, they will be available to the public, and I think that we'll get a little bit more of an answer there. However, you were
Did you say autopsy?
yes.
Sorry, did you say autopsy results?
Yes, like the examination itself, not that she had wounds or anything, but like the depth of the wounds, the type of the knife used, etc., the temperature of the body.
So do you think there's a possibility then that the autopsy is going to show there were two people and they just chose to completely ignore that because they were frauds or whatever? Like they said, oh, we're just going to pretend it was one guy?
That's where my next point was coming from, is nobody's calling the cops liars. Nobody's calling the detective liars. They are calling Gypsy and her attorney liars, or they theorize that they are liars because the cops and the detectives were adamant that they were not pleased that she was given the deal or the plea.
I believe that. That makes sense to me, but that doesn't have anything to do with them completely leaving her out. If there were two people involved, like that is fraud. If they did that, that's complete fraud. That's disgusting.
No, I'm saying that the cops are saying they were not happy that the DA gave the plea deal because they did not believe, or let me say they did not believe. Things are not as they seem, I believe was the exact quote. Was it Arnett gave?
Right, that was right after the crime because he was saying she can walk. We all thought this girl couldn't walk. Things are not as they seem. She's not handicapped. None of this is true.
Right, and the detectives have come out and said she was given this plea. The detectives have never come out and said only one person did the stabbing. The autopsy has never come out and said only one person did the stabbing, nor has it said two people did the stabbing. It has not confirmed one or the other, and that's where the theories come in. And again, people aren't saying the cops and the detectives are lying. They're not even saying that the person that performed the autopsy are lying. They're saying that Gypsy and her attorney are lying is their theory.
So why you don't think the prosecution did a good job on Nick's case? Like you don't think the prosecution would have brought up that fact obviously he saw the whole autopsy. You think he's going to completely leave it out that there were two people involved in the crime when he's trying to prosecute?
If it's not relevant, yes, yes, if it's not relevant, sometimes they will have.
It's very relevant. It's very relevant. It's very relevant. If there were two people involved in the crime, it wouldn't. That argument. No, I'm not going to even entertain that argument. That's not a good argument. I'm sorry, but
it's not relevant though because Gypsy wasn't the one on trial. Nick was. We've seen multiple times where two co-defendants have separate trials and they're not allowed to bring up what the other person done. That is not unusual. Just okay.
I don't think they wouldn't be able to bring up the fact that someone else was participating in the actual crime. I don't think there's any way they could leave that out. That seems highly unethical. I don't believe that.
It may seem highly unethical, but let me put it this way.
I meant the defense. Somebody said in comments, you're right, it's the defense. I meant the defense.
Okay, let me put it this way. It's something that your side likes to bring up all the time. Gypsy could not testify that it was rape. She had to say it was consensual. That's one of y'all's biggest arguments all the time. So there is a chance, yes, that they told this guy, you cannot bring this up. You have to bring this up. Because at the end of the day, whether Gypsy participated or not did not change the fact of the crime. It did not change the fact that he did that. And originally, she was charged as an accessory, or not an accessory, sorry, with first degree, which is participating. And she pleaded down to second degree.
Yeah, they don't have accessory. They didn't have an accessory charge in Missouri.
Yeah, that's why I said I didn't mean accessory. I meant to say she had one, what was it? Something about premeditate. No, y'all are saying, hold on. Let me look up what her original charge was because one involves physically doing it. What was Gypsy Rose originally charged?
It's first degree. First degree. If she had been involved, she would have been charged with first degree. Period. It was premeditated, and it would be first degree.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it.
Gypsy Rose was originally charged with first-degree murder in connection with her mother's death, and she later pleaded down to a lesser charge.
Right. Yeah, it would be first degree, absolutely.
So you're agreeing
But
that,
I mean, and hopefully, I don't. I also don't think that only part of the autopsy is out. But hey, I guess that seems like a stretch to me. But we'll see what happens.
okay, but
You
do
know?
you agree that she was charged with first degree, which would indicate that she participated?
I think she was charged with first degree because she was there, and I think that they examined the evidence and offered her a plea deal. And I think the reason that I've never seen any of the cops saying that they disagree with the charge. I only heard Becca speculate that, but I'm just going to pretend for a second that they did say that. I've never seen it on camera or anywhere. But if they did say that, I think it's because she probably should have gotten 20 years, but she didn't. She got a plea deal. She got a good deal.
Hold on. We're going to look up the standard for first degree murder in Missouri in order for them to do it. Knowingly causing the death of another person after deliberating on the matter. It's the most serious. Knowingly causing it, deliberation. The person applies.
Okay.
This applies when the death occurs due to the commission of a certain dangerous felony, such as robbery. Okay, that's felon. Oh, that's still the same thing. Robbery, arson.
So she would.
kidnapping.
So absolutely, she'd be first degree. She knowingly caused it. She'd be first degree.
Yeah, which means she participated.
She didn't participate. Causing it doesn't mean participating it. She caused it by planning it. Everybody says if she wouldn't have suggested it or planned it, that was the cause of it. I mean, cause and participation are completely different things.
So Nick was originally charged with first degree. Had he pled down to second degree, would you be having the same thing? Well, he didn't participate because he didn't get first degree.
He said he participated in the interrogation. He said he wielded the knife and everything.
That's not the question I asked.
What's the question?
The question is had he pled down to second degree? Would you say, if he had pled down to second degree and never confessed to doing it, would you say Gypsy could have done it? It's a hypothetical question.
Well, yeah, but that's not what happened. I mean, they both said what they both ultimately confessed. He confessed in his interrogation. She confessed later, but no, absolutely I wouldn't. That wouldn't make any sense. No, I wouldn't.
Okay, let's see what she was originally charged with 2. What 2 crimes was Gypsy originally?
Is this Google again or no?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I have the case book. It's just going to take a lot longer to.
I know, I do too. I can't see it either. It's okay. I was just curious if it was Google or not. I mean, I'm not saying the thing is, I'm just up in Google. Google just bugs me.
No,
I mean,
you're
it's
good.
very skewed. It's very skewed in a lot of stuff, but it can pull facts from so many different places, or pull what should I say, information from so many different places. But yeah, Google it. I'm curious too.
Hold on, let's just open the case book.
That doesn't seem like something that Google wouldn't pull. That probably will pull correct information on that anyway.
Okay, case book. Let's just do that because we can go find easily where there's a judge's signature.
Okay.
Okay, this is all people's statements. It might be easier to work from the bottom up, actually. Okay, I'm waiting for it to load. Crime documents, certificates, drawings, diagrams, evidence logs, more statements, supplement report, supplement report, supplement report. That's a certificate of live birth. Greene County investigating report, restricted, supplement. Is it in this one? Jesus Christ, there's so many damn papers. Does anybody know what page it is? That might be helpful.
I wish I could see this stuff. Now, if we ever have another live, I'm gonna have my new device with everything on it, so I can look it up too.
That's fine.
I only have one device. I mean, I have a new one, but I don't have anything on it yet.
You're good. Okay, so this. Okay, that's not it. Where is Gypsy's record? Maybe. No, that's medical records. Crime scene FOIAs, da 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 da. I don't know. It's in here. If anybody has it, because I know it wasn't, there were 2 charges that I need to create an index. I really do, y'all. I
I
really
wonder
do.
if it would be. I almost wonder, Audrey, if it would have been conspiracy to commit murder and then first degree. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I
Conspiracy
don't
didn't
know.
exist in Missouri, is my
Okay,
understanding.
then it wouldn't be that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what are you looking for? Something else, or you want me to go on to
I'm
another one?
I'm still looking, but you can go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. What did I have? Oh, okay. A lot of people say, I've seen this a lot, but a lot of people will say that I'm getting a lot of comments because I think after you and I had our little back and forth, there's a lot of people coming from the other side looking at different things to see, what kind of stuff, what kind of content I have, if I'm just throwing a bunch of BS out there or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm not saying you said I was. I'm just saying I think they're your, they're your followers, so they just want to know what happened. But a lot of people say that they discount the eyewitness statements that were made, and they talk about like, oh, they act like that again. I was saying that earlier, but they act like these people that talk about, neighbors, family, doctors, the prosecutor of, I'm trying to think who else. There's Nick himself. I mean, they'll just say, not even, I don't think they say it about Nick, but they always kind of make excuses for these people's statements, and they act like these people's statements aren't evidence of anything. And I just want to say that that's I don't I guess I don't see how people can say, and they also say, oh, you're talking about old stuff, this is 10 years ago. Well, the fact is the crime was 10 years ago, but it definitely matters, especially when you have so many different people saying all these different things. I've even heard them say, oh, they lied, for the documentary, so that doesn't matter, because I don't know where that came from, but someone has led these people to believe that these networks are fraudulent and there's paying these people to lie. I have the neurologist that talks about how Munchausen's, he noted in the records that she had Munchausen's, and they say, oh no, he lied. And I'm just like, this guy makes, I Googled it, this guy makes, 320, around $300,000 a year to be a neurologist. And they're talking about how he's lying on TV, risking his reputation, saying that he dropped the ball or whatever. And somehow they think, I guess, that this network has the money to pay him. I don't know how much you'd have to pay a guy that makes $300,000 a year. That's probably 60 years old. He's been a neurologist for years, and somehow they're saying that he's lying. And so that to me was just something I wanted to address, because it's like that doesn't sound like critical thinking to me at all. That sounds very I don't even really understand that way of thinking. Do you?
No, and I think that people aren't necessarily saying that they're lying. I think they are saying that y'all are cherry picking his statement because he does
They're
say
not.
that.
They're saying he's lying. That's literally what they're saying. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay, well, I can't control what they're saying, and I understand where you're
No, no,
coming
no, I
from with
know. I'm
that.
not blaming you. I'm not
Um,
blaming you. I'm just addressing it. I'm not blaming you
yeah,
one
and
bit.
I would like to address it. I don't think he's lying to say he suspected Munchausen, but he follows it up.
Absolutely.
He follows it up with an unknown underlying etiology. And if somebody
Right.
takes this and clips it and tries to say that I only said the first half of that sentence, I'm gonna show up and box you. Not really, but don't do that. That's disingenuous. But with that being said, he made that statement and, like I said, followed it with unknown underlying etiology. That is like
Right. I
saying,
looked that up too. Yeah,
right,
that you know what that means, right?
yeah, that there was an unknown condition, which they found out later.
Yes, that there was an unknown condition, because most Munchausen's cases, it won't let me upload his salary. I just clipped it, but it won't let me do it. It says that it's too many megabytes or something. It
Somebody
says you
said it
can
was
only do his.
300
It's
and one.
324. I think it's
Yeah.
324. Is what that was, just a median, whatever. But my whole thing was like, I mean, yeah, there's with every Munchausen, practically every Munchausen case that's ever been known, there's an underlying etiology. That's what gets the mom started. They have something going on, and the mom says, "Oh, wow, this is whatever the psychology is behind it. This is something that." It's getting me attention. Everyone thinks I'm a good mom, and you know what I mean? And then they go from there. So there's always an underlying ideology for sure. I
Well, and
agree.
if you look up MVP, like 1980 Millennial said, and she does a whole video on this, I do recommend you doing or going and listening to it, that MVP is not just classified as abusing the child. It can also be under the classification of the child is lying for attention, which is malingering. But with that, I wanted to come back to something. So I did find it's on Yahoo, and I don't know how to say this, HOUMA Today, that says Gypsy was originally charged with first degree murder and armed criminal action. With that being said, I went ahead and I looked up armed criminal action, the RSMO 571.015 applies when a person commits a felony while carrying, aiding with a dangerous instrument or deadly weapon. So that is them saying she participated. She aided with a dangerous instrument or deadly weapon.
I don't, I mean, you might be right. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see if anything comes out with the autopsy. I don't know. I also know that they press charges, they press charges pretty much right away. And then as they review it, obviously as they reviewed it, something changed because they gave her the plea deal. I mean, it's not like I don't believe that those professionals just said we're going to disregard the fact that she wielded. We'll see, I guess, if something comes out, but I have a hard time believing everybody was fraudulent like that. I just don't believe it. I mean, and that's just me. I just don't. But
Okay,
okay,
well,
so
real facts, hold on. KMAX said they think I'm misinterpreting that. Are you talking about the felony thing? Because it literally says any person who commits any felony under the law of the state by, with, or through the use, assistance, aids of a dangerous instrument or deadly weapon is also guilty of the offense of armed criminal action. This offense of armed criminal action shall be an unclassified felony, and upon conviction shall be punished by imprisonment by the Department of Corrections for the term of not less than 3 years, but not to exceed 15 years, unless the person is unlawfully possessing a firearm, in which that case the term of imprisonment shall be for the term of not less than 5 years. And then it goes on to classify all of like the sentencing and all that, but it literally says right there, you're
I wonder.
assisting.
Okay, this is probably a stretch, but I'm just curious. I'm trying to look it up on I can't hold the phone. I got to get some more equipment over here. But anyway, I wonder if, because you know how sometimes they'll say that, I wonder if the computer could be considered. You know what I mean? Because she used the computer to perpetrate the crime, and she also produced the knife herself. If she wouldn't have gotten the knife, people say, I mean, basically, if she wouldn't have gotten the knife, the crime wouldn't have happened. So I wonder if that could have been why that charge was there. Because I go back to the forensics. I just say I don't see forensics. I don't see them being fraudulent like that.
Well, I wouldn't consider the computer it because it is very specific of it has to be a a deadly weapon. I don't see a computer being a deadly weapon.
That's true, but the knife was, and she did provide the knife. So I mean,
Yeah.
she definitely did. We know that.
Well,
And that
okay.
that was another thing I was gonna say. Oh, go ahead.
With that, I was going to say if you look at it, so one of my good friends is actually I think the term is technically a mortician, and she processes scenes like this all the time because she's in a very big city. And she is of the belief too, looking at just the image. Obviously, we have not seen the autopsy pictures of Dee Dee, and that's part of what has not been released is the autopsy photos, them cutting and examining and all that. But she says with the angles of the wounds on the back, how they go like this, they very much suggest two different hands. Yeah, and somebody said her blood on the knife handle. I don't think it was her blood on the knife handle,
You're
or
right. You're
I
right.
can't prove that it was or was not her blood because they only say DNA, but DNA can be skin transfer, but I still 100% believe she participated. Yeah, and like somebody just said in the chat too, the spatter on her shirt.
So do you believe then that she would have been able to sit there and stab a large, a large woman? I'm larger. I can say this. that she would have been able to not only, stab her like that, but that she would have not cut herself at all and all that on her. I mean, she's this little, like, I have a friend that's her size, a little bit bigger, but it's like, how would she not have injured herself and stuff? I mean, I don't know. I don't see any evidence at all that would tell me that she participated.
The evidence that would tell you she participated is the spatter on her shirt, the bruising on her hands, the two different angles of
The bruising on her hands would. The bruising
Okay.
on her hands wouldn't come from stabbing someone, though.
Yes, it would. Google it. Whenever you do like this and you come down to a solid stop or even a quick slowing of your stop, these bones, they like ricochet into each other, which causes bruising. I know that I was married to a cop that did detective. I've asked him about this. It's the force of the stop that would cause the bruising. But again, I go back to there's two angles of stab wounds. They go like this. Whereas if one person's doing, even if they switch hands, it doesn't matter. With that being said, I don't think she
Is one of them left-handed? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying? One of them's left-handed,
Yeah, Nick is left-handed.
and she's right-handed.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. With that being said, you're asking, could she have done it? I think the way you're wording it is you're questioning if she could have done it on her own. And I've never implied that she did it on her own. I think they did it together. But I think that
Oh
it's
no, I wasn't questioning that.
okay. I was going to say, I think it's disingenuous to bring up her size and whether she could do it because look at Nick. He was a little guy too. So if Nick could done it by himself, why do we not theorize they could have done it together?
Nick was 4'11" and 130 pounds.
No, I'm saying
Nick's like 5'8" or 5'10" and about like 150 or something.
yeah, that's scrawny for 5'8". My dad was
That's
also
for a guy.
5'8", and he was
For a
150
man.
pounds, and he wore a 31 waist.
Yeah, but for a man, for a man that's small, but that's not small for a person. I mean, if you're not saying now, if you're going to say 4'11" and 100 pounds isn't small for a person, yeah, we're not going to agree on that, but that's okay.
Go
Okay,
look
do you
at
want
his
me to-
arms and tell me where, like, and I'm not trying to be funny whenever I say he did not come across as a muscular person is my point. Somebody said
Oh yeah,
Nick is,
no, I didn't say that.
Nick's people
Yeah,
are here and they said he's 6 foot tall. So
Yeah,
he's
he's
6
not.
foot tall
He's
and
not.
150 pounds. That is below average. That is very
I don't even
below
know if he's 150 pounds. I'm not. Don't quote me on that. I'm just saying
Okay.
he's not. He's not a 4'11". Most women aren't even that small. I mean, that's a very small person. I don't know if you've ever stood next to someone that size, but that's a
Yeah.
small person.
Yeah, no, I have.
That's an extremely small person. I mean, I think that argument's kind of, I don't know, but okay,
Okay, well,
so
Nick's people are in here. Can y'all answer the question? I've said that there are parts of the autopsy that have not been released to the public. Example being the actual autopsy photos of her on the autopsy table. So they're in here. They can answer that. Would you agree with what they have to say though?
are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking them if they know if that is true, and then I'm asking if they say yes, it is. According to Nick, wasn't wearing the shirt when he arrived. Who wasn't wearing
Who
it?
wasn't wearing the shirt? That's not true. See, those kind of things. I mean, okay.
No, they're saying according to Nick. She wasn't wearing a shirt. Doesn't she say in her text messages she's wearing pajamas? So
Yeah,
I don't know.
she does.
Okay. So anyways,
She does. She does, and then he tells her to get naked and scrub the floor. She definitely says she's wearing pajamas. She says she describes them.
that's an
she's
interesting
wearing.
thing though. He supposedly says get naked and scrub the floor, but she had just got out of the shower, so why was she dressed? She was in there shaving her coon cat.
Well, she says in the text that she had already taken a shower and shaved her legs in the text.
Yes, and then he says, "Did you shave down there?" And she says she will she will do that in the bathroom while he's doing that. So
Yeah,
So
that's true too.
NPG asked what was the question. The question was, is it factual to say that there are autopsy photos such as her on the table being examined that have not been released?
I have to say one quick thing. I think people might be under the impression that this is Nick. This is not Nick. This is a woman who runs his website. I just want everybody to know that because it's not Nick that's NPG Cornerstone. This is a woman. This isn't his dad. This is a lady that runs his website.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, somebody said, oh, they said yes. What was my question again? I got sidetracked. Yeah. Oh, yes, that there are autopsy photos that aren't available. Okay.
So maybe there are, we don't know. That's the lady that runs the website. We don't really know. But okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was going on to the next one, but I don't want to interrupt what you're saying.
That was mostly just my point that oh yeah, and ask them what was plan B and what was plan C. Yes, the photos aren't available, but they do have them. Okay. That was just my point, is that the autopsy does potentially sorry, potentially show that somebody said on 8/8/22 Nick was 193 pounds. Well, yeah, he's in prison. You tend to gain weight in prison. We can see that in his photos that he's gained weight. My point is that people are not saying,
Yeah, he has gained weight.
people are not saying she did it alone. People are saying they participated together. But they do say that they believe that Gypsy was abusing her mother prior. And whenever I say prior, they are indicating days before. But I have the comments that were up on Facebook whenever the original "Where Did Gypsy Go" stuff go up. And they said that they seen Gypsy be attacking her mother. I don't remember the exact words, but there are people that have said they have seen that. Whereas there's never people saying they've seen Gypsy get
Wait,
physical.
say that. I'm sorry, say that again. What did you just say about they saw Gypsy what? Who said they saw Gypsy do what?
It was a Facebook comment. Let me see if I can find it really fast. Because I know I sent it to somebody. Let me go through these photos. Oh, shit. Nope, that's not what I meant to hit. Photos, see all. The Facebook status said about Gypsy giving her mother the evil look. In hindsight, I think it was "I know our secret" face. It was an unsettling look. If you ever saw Little Evil, is how Gypsy would act when attention was not on her. Dee Dee was going to give up the wheelchair act. And then this other one said,
Dee Dee was going to give up the wheelchair act, is what someone said on Facebook?
yes, in the very original, like, the "Where is Gypsy" pages and all that, there were comments.
How would anyone? So they're claiming that they know that Dee Dee. They're claiming that Dee Dee told them that she was going to give up the wheelchair act. That she told them that. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, that's why they had started the OT and the PT, is because Dee Dee was ready to acknowledge she could walk. And I'm waiting for it to come up, but I do have proof that she
Yeah, there's no way she was going to do that. There's no way. She's not stupid. She knew she would have been in huge trouble for that. She wasn't going to do that.
No,
I don't believe that for a second.
what I'm saying is, this says she was acknowledging the physical therapy and all that because they believed the plan was that she was slowly going to be like, oh my God, this therapist really worked and now Gypsy can walk. Did I see the plans according to Nick? I'm sorry I didn't. Let me scroll up. Hold on. Okay, so plan E, call the cops. According
I never heard of Plan E. So whoever's saying Plan E has not looked into this case. There's no Plan
No,
E.
no, that is technically a plan because she does say in the text messages, if all things go wrong, run and call.
There's no Plan E in anything. There's no Plan E. That's complete fabrication.
Plan A was to send the flowers, getting Dee Dee to like him. Plan B, pregnancy. Plan C, run away. Plan D, the deed.
Who's saying this? This is not true. What and where is there any evidence of him sending flowers to Dee Dee?
I think he actually does talk about that.
I've never heard that. I've heard because I was on Nick's side for a long time. I've watched every single available anywhere of Nick's interviews, and he's never said he sent Dee Dee flowers. I don't even know where that came from. I've never heard that one before at all. And I've never heard Plan E. This is what I was saying the other day, is that sometimes in your comments you've got people that just come up with stuff, and then when you say it out loud, then the other people go and run with it. And I'm not blaming you, but I'm just saying some of this stuff is like, I mean, I don't, you know what I'm saying? There's people that just want to
Yeah, and
I
people
don't
were
even know
just
what they're
asking
doing.
them about plan A, plan B, plan C, which they were not in the comments earlier whenever we had that, but they did acknowledge that B was the pregnancy, is what they're saying. MPG, if you have anything to like support that, could you post it at some point for us? That
Yeah,
way,
and MPG, also explain where she got a credit card to order flowers, if you would, please. I'd be interested to see that too.
oh, they
Um,
said they have posted it. Can you send it to me? NPG? Is that possible? Like just share the video over to me? She uses her
so,
mom's. They said
so
that
quick question, Audrey. Where has it ever been said that Gypsy had access to a credit card? I mean, what's that about?
she's basically acknowledged that she was ordering wigs and stuff. She's talked about that.
She never said she was ordering wigs.
She's
Dee Dee let Gypsy dress up like a Dee Dee let Gypsy dress up like a princess in whatever she wanted. Dee Dee got the wigs with her. I mean, she dressed up all the time. Everywhere she went. She went to VisionCon. She went to Disney. She dressed up in wigs constantly. I mean, Dee Dee's the one getting her the wigs. Dee Dee knows she's wearing the wigs all the time.
she ordered the bus ticket online. She didn't go in person to order it, so she couldn't have
He
paid
didn't
for it.
order the bus ticket. She didn't order the bus ticket. She sent him cash and he got the bus ticket. That's what I'm saying. Stuff like that is not, that's not, there's nothing substantiating any of that. She
Yes,
did
there
send him
is. I
cash.
can substantiate it right now. Go back to their text messages because she says you can go in and they will give you all of the information for the bus pass stuff, which means he did not get it because he would already have that information. She's telling him how to get it because she had got the ticket.
She's telling him how to go in and buy it. I'm saying there's not, she didn't have a credit
No,
card. She's not,
she's talking about the confirmation. Go back to the text messages. I
I
swear
can't, I
she's
told
talking.
you I can't access anything. You can go to them though if you want to. If you want to go back in them and show it, yeah.
Yeah, let's
Because
find it. There's
I don't know how she would have had a credit card. I've never heard she had a credit card.
okay.
I've heard she sent him the money. He bought the bus ticket. He reserved the hotel. I don't know why he couldn't have gotten the bus ticket, but again, if you've got it, I want to see it,
Okay.
and I'll keep it. I want to keep it.
Dreamt about it, May 30th, blah blah blah. So it be after they talk about plan B. Want you
She
anal.
says for the bus ticket to Cinderella, she sent him cash and he used it. So he
No,
bought his bus ticket to Cinderella. That's Nicholas. That's the NPG Cornerstone people saying that.
no. I'm saying it's in these messages from the last few days because I remember reading it
Okay.
out loud whenever I was going over them.
Okay.
So it's from Gypsy. So let's just look at the pink ones. Good morning. I need to talk to you for a second. The Pediasure,
That's Dee Dee's credit card spellbound is what's on the dining table. It's not Gypsy's credit card. Just because it's in the crime scene evidence doesn't mean Gypsy was using her credit card and she had no idea. And there's a lot of stuff in the crime scene evidence that isn't Gypsy's stuff. It's all the stuff in the house.
Okay, darling, please be online. This is the first. Let's see. How the hell am I gonna fight if it's one-sided? This is them arguing. Hi, I'm me again. Good night. Do you know? It was just online at the same time. I didn't mean call it live. Thank you, Bethany. Also, while I'm looking for this, I do want to say thank you to everybody that has sent gifts. I've tried not to interrupt anybody talking to say thank you, but I do appreciate it. That is very nice. We'll be with you. Sorry, I got 9 days worth of going through and 300 pages.
I do. I'd like to get together with you again and get some stuff together myself. Just because, I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe we'll cover it all tonight. But I do wish I was better prepared too, so I could help you with that, or whatever.
Right.
I could be looking at the trial while you're looking at that.
Oh, you could. I mean, if you want to try to play that in the background while I'm looking, that's fine. Because I
No,
do
I'm
want to
saying I
find this.
can't. I can't,
Oh,
or
yeah,
I
you
would.
can't. Okay.
I'm saying I want to get better set up next. I just kind of got together whatever I could real quick, but.
No, you're good. I'm the same way. I mean, I've told y'all all that my computer took a dump and I'm lost without it. I allowed myself to accept everything. Sorry about last night. Truthful everything. Darling, 9 days and I'm yours forever. Ups and downs. I'm going to fight like hell for us. Do you forgive me, darling? Nick doesn't know how or what she used to pay for the flowers, but she told him they were sent. Okay. Is what the comment said. Please read
Okay,
this.
so honestly, maybe we can agree on this, Audrey. Maybe she did tell him that, and maybe they weren't sent, or maybe he said she told him that, and maybe she didn't. We don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
We
and
kind
they
of just
even
don't
said
know.
that. They even said that right after. Again, she lies, so who knows?
I mean, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know if he's saying that. I mean, he's mad at her. I don't know. I mean, we don't. The problem with this one is just that we literally don't have any. I don't think we have any evidence to prove any of that either way. Because we have Nick's word, and then we have, I've never heard her say anything about the flowers. So
Yeah, well, and we know that she was stealing cash from Dee Dee. So, I mean, at the end of the
yeah,
day, Dee Dee did openly pay for it.
yeah. Gypsy paid for the. I'm not arguing that at all. Gypsy definitely paid for the bus ticket. I mean, I just don't believe she used a credit card and got it online. I mean, and NPG did say that he got it with the for the Cinderella thing. So I don't see why he wouldn't have done it again that way. But that's
Yeah,
just
she talks to
my
him about
thought.
how to get his confirmation and all that. I don't know. I'll
I,
find it.
I
Go
took
ahead.
I took it as her telling him kind of what to do when he went into the bus station, but I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
it kind of
we
like
can
maybe he
reread it
never.
whenever we get to it.
Okay, so do you want me to tell you another one that I have on my list? I only have three more.
Yeah.
Or no, yeah, three more. Okay, so the next one is a lot of the anti-group believes that the Munchausen's was brought up because of media, like because her defense attorney says Stanfield says right on camera, I've got it too. He says we don't even know what our defense is going to be or something like that because he obviously probably didn't know anything about medical abuse, didn't have any idea what they were going to say. I mean, like she was there, I mean, she obviously can walk and all this. He was like, we don't know what we're going to do. That's what he said. And so a lot of the anti-community says the Munchausen's by proxy story came up from people talking about it online, and then her lawyer said, "Ooh, that's a good idea. Let's do that one." But I just want to go back to the fact that that's actually not true because the neurologist did note it in her records. So there is significance to him noting it in the records, and I believe absolutely that I know I'm not trying to start an argument, but I believe that the evidence in the medical records and so on proves it myself. But it wasn't something that just got brought up like, oh, the media says it. I mean, they looked at the evidence, and that's where they came up with that.
Okay,
So I
so
just wanted to mention that.
So I do want to discuss that because the lawyer did make it up in a sense. He used one very small sentence and completely ignored the other half or the fact that she was later diagnosed. And what I mean by he pulled that out of his ass and it was a Hail Mary on his part is the first defense was she, or maybe it was the second defense, but I know there was two defenses prior. The first one or the second one of the two was to say she was so doped up that she didn't know what she was doing.
I never heard that. Where'd you hear that?
It's in their I can't remember where it was at. Let me write it down. They were going to use the medication as a claim. So let me write that down so I can find where it was. And then Gypsy says in Dr. Phil is what they're saying.
Gypsy says in Dr. Phil, what does she say?
Chewy, are you saying in Dr. Phil's episode she says that they were going to use that she was so medicated? Because the medicated one, no, the doctor said it. Yeah, and the other
What
one was
doctor?
the other one was the battered wife syndrome. And
The battered wife syndrome, I didn't hear that either, but I believe it. But the first one, I've never heard anything about it. The battered wife syndrome makes sense, and he wouldn't have come up with the Munchausen's. The lawyer wouldn't have any idea. He can't read medical records. That was the experts that came up with that.
Okay, hold on. So people are saying it is on the Dr. Phil's thing, and it's the doctor that talks about it, y'all? Are you saying it was the doctor? Either way, they couldn't use
The doctor did say, Dr. Phil, I just watched that the other day, and Dr. Phil did say that she was doped, were you doped up or something like that, but he doesn't say that the lawyer ever used that as a defense. I've never heard that. Or that the lawyer was going to use that as a defense. I've never heard that anywhere.
Yeah, no, that and the battered spouse. So those two, and then they had to settle on that because they found that one sentence and completely ignored everything else.
Oh, really? They just examined the medical records and chose one sentence and ignored all the rest of the records, huh? And that's how they came up with it?
Yeah, pretty
The
much.
experts? Oh,
Yeah.
really? Okay, that's weird.
So
Okay.
the
I don't know any other case where they ignore all the evidence, but I
you
don't
don't
know. I
know
guess
other
that's where
you don't know other cases where a defense team has intentionally admitted information for their defense. That's like a lawyer's
omitted?
job.
You mean omitted information? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
sorry,
don't know
omitted.
that. I don't think that they could have omitted all of the medical records. No, I don't. I don't see that. That's impossible. I mean,
Yes, in cases like that, let me give you a prime example. And I'm giving this from experience. In my ex-husband's case for shaken baby syndrome against a baby, the defense team for him used all of this other stuff that it could be and threw literally threw this much. Let's just start at 2 weeks worth of life and remind you they had years worth of stuff. 2 weeks of my son's life in medical files at the prosecution and said, "Good luck." That's what attorneys do. Her attorney would throw everything at them. There was no trial, so they can't show evidence.
I don't. I guess I don't. Honestly, that I can't even comprehend what you're trying to say there. It doesn't make
That
any
a,
sense to me at all.
that a defense attorney would hide stuff. Well, not even hide. They just bury it in stuff. That's very common practice.
You do understand that the prosecution is who offered the plea deal, right?
Yeah, I would offer a plea deal too, honestly, because it
If
costs a
you were
lot
the
of money.
prosecution,
A lot of cases in Missouri offer plea deals. They offered a plea deal to Nick. That's not a winning argument. They
so
offered a
you're
plea
saying
deal.
that the prosecution offered a 10-year plea deal and completely disregarded all the medical evidence.
Yes, that's
The
very common.
prosecution, that's what you're saying. No, it isn't. No, it
Okay.
isn't. They examine the evidence and they regard and they. I didn't mean to choose that picture. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be like a gypsy stan or whatever. I'm trying to just put something different up. That's what I'm not what I'm talking about. There, I'll put my little AI girl up there. If it's gonna. Oh, it won't let me do that. Hold on.
How many large cases that they want to avoid trial on and they just take a plea? It happens all the time and they typically plea down to lower things. Here's another example. You can look this up. It was a case in Sierra Vista, Arizona. A guy literally murdered his girlfriend's daughter, and he ended up taking a plea for only 10 years despite all the evidence against him to avoid a long, lengthy trial. And he got charged with assault.
Okay, but I don't understand your point though. What I'm saying is
He sh-
the prosecution will not offer a plea deal based on nothing. They won't do that.
yes, they will.
They're
I've
not
just
going to
told
do
you an
that. They're going to
example.
what they do is they examine all the evidence and they say, okay, they either say we're not going to be able to we're not going to be able to win this case, or they say this case is too traumatic because of all the background. We're going to try to settle it out of court, save money, and so everybody else doesn't have to go through the trial. That's what they do. They don't. I mean, if you think that they just take the whole evidence, but the whole case file and set it aside and say, let's just figure out what we're going to do for this girl so we don't have to spend the money. I mean, that's just not
You
reasonable.
just said it yourself. They do it to save money. And I just gave you a prime example of a case. Like I said,
They
you can
don't.
look it up in there.
The plea deal is offered to save money. So because if the perpetrator says, okay, I'm not, okay, I would rather take this plea deal than risk getting life in prison, then they save that money. But she could have said, no, I don't want the plea deal. They're not going to offer it based off of no evidence. That's not, I don't understand where you're coming from.
They
I mean, you're
offered
blowing my
Nick
mind.
they offered Nick a plea deal with a
Right.
confession. So
Right. And
yes,
they didn't not examine the evidence and just say, here's your plea deal.
why they did with Nick. They gave him a plea deal. He just didn't take it. It's literally to
That
save
doesn't mean they
money.
didn't look at the evidence, though. That doesn't mean they didn't look at the evidence. They wouldn't have offered him if they didn't look at the evidence at all. They could have offered, if they don't look at the evidence at all, they don't even have any basis for what they're going to offer for the plea deal.
even with looking at evidence, they can offer plea deals.
Right.
What's
I know
what's not
that.
clicking on that? You're
I'm
saying,
saying what's not clicking with you. I'm saying they don't offer a plea deal without looking at the evidence. They're not going to just say, "Oh, we're going to give you this much," and not even have any idea what went on in the case. That just okay. Let's move on from that because I can't talk about that anymore. I'm sorry. Let's just move on from that.
okay,
You have your own beliefs on that, and I have mine. I don't even know. I don't want to talk about that.
okay, that's fine.
Okay, so let's see what else. Oh, another one is this, like, a lot of people say that Gypsy would have gotten the death penalty. And that's another one. And these are just little things, but I'm just saying I see them repeatedly in my comments, and that's not true either. When the case was first, when they basically first were arrested and then they started examining the evidence and their backgrounds and different things like that, they immediately took the death penalty off the table for both of them based off of their backgrounds and their upbringings and different things like that. They took the death penalty off the table. So that's it on that. I mean, there's not much to that one.
Yeah, Mike said she would
Um,
get life behind bars. That's what I've always said, and he does say that she would have got life. Gypsy even says she got life, so it's kind of irrelevant, I would say.
yeah, I think so too.
But yeah,
What else? I think that's it for what I had. There was, oh, I just wanted to mention too, and we've already talked about it, excuse me, but everybody is so mad that Nick's in prison and Gypsy's not. And, I mean, whether or not she got a short sentence, she did get a short sentence. She got a good plea deal. But Nick was also offered plea deals, and I don't know if everybody's aware of that or not, but he was offered two different plea deals and he would have served 20 years. And he wanted to get the same as Gypsy, even though he was the one wielding the knife, and that's not realistic. I don't know if his lawyers didn't explain it or what, but if Nick would have taken the plea deal, he wouldn't be serving life in prison. He'd be out, he'd be getting close, well, he'd be a little over halfway done. So that's just something I wanted to bring up. That was it on that. And
okay.
then a few other people have also said, like, that Nick, somebody said today in my comments, well, we haven't seen, they were blaming Nick's violent tendencies. They didn't, I don't think they've seen the video records, and I don't think they've heard his interviews, but they were saying he didn't have violent tendencies before Gypsy, like Gypsy created all this in him somehow or something. And then they were saying that he hasn't done anything violent since. And that's
I
another
don't
one
even
that
want
I
to
just wanted
discuss
to.
Dawn's messages because honestly, I've not read them.
You don't have to discuss them. I just put one up here.
But
It's just there. He did do things. He did have violent tendencies even after. Was my whole point. It's like I don't like the fact that he didn't have good representation. I think they should have told him, listen, they should have realized that he didn't understand because he was kind of like, oh, that's not fair. She did it too, and she's getting less time than me. Well, of course he was saying that, but his lawyer should have said, listen, you just confessed to first degree murder and to wielding the knife. You told us all about it, and you're not going to get anything better than 20 years. You should take this plea deal. Like, you shouldn't go to trial and try to think that you're going to get acquitted. You already confessed. You know what I mean? So that was just something I wanted to mention because I don't know that everybody knows he was offered a plea deal too.
I knew he was
Yeah,
offered a plea deal.
Cornerstone.
But again,
Cornerstone's talking about. Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead.
I was just going to say NPG Cornerstone's talking about the Dawn emails that April was involved in. Yes, she was. April baited Nick to say these things through Dawn. The problem is that he's able to be he's able to be provoked to that level of anger. So that's the problem. But yeah, she did do that. She set him up, but unfortunately it worked, and he does still have those tendencies. So
Can
that's sad.
let me ask you something. You know about a little bit about PTSD and like soldiers come back and they're shitty
My
people.
husband had it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So could you agree that Nick potentially snapped like he did in these supposed messages, which I'm going to say I have not read, so I don't know what is exactly in them. But is there the potential he has PTSD from prison and it caused him to snap? And maybe he wouldn't have been like this without prison?
I would maybe go along with that if he didn't have the violence tendencies before any of this ever happened.
But
But
what
and
violent
I think Gypsy has
outs
PTSD too. I think they probably both have PTSD. As a
out
matter of even, I think Nick has PTSD from the day of the crime.
well, okay, and that's what I was about to ask is outside of the crime, what violent tendency did he ever express? We've never heard of him hurting animals. We've never heard of him hurting other kids. So what
Well,
I don't I'm not asking about what he said because
I
you can
thought you said express. You mean what did he act on? You don't mean what he expressed?
yes, because I've said I fantasized about taking out my ex-husband, but I never did it. It doesn't make me have violent tendencies. It made me have a violent
Have
thought.
you seen have you seen the details of the things he wanted to do, or have you not read that part?
No, I have. I've had crazy thoughts too. Everybody does, and anybody that says they haven't is honestly lying.
I think that I would say everybody has probably thought of someone that they wanted to kill him, or they wish they could kill him, or they wish they were dead. I think I'm saying the wrong words. I'm sorry. I don't do a lot of I'm sorry, but I think that everybody does think of, those thoughts cross your mind, but I think that repeatedly saying things in detail about really gruesome type of things is on a different level. That's my opinion.
I don't know. I've said some pretty shitty things. But I mean, I go to therapy obviously
That's
because
probably
I've
a
never.
personal thing. Me
Yeah, but
too.
that's
But I think that's more of a personal thing I think with most people, it's more of a personal thing. Like if someone in your life has done something to you, you'll have an emotional reaction and it's a personal thing. But this wasn't personal. This was someone that wanted to perpetrate crimes on strangers, women. And so that's to me different.
okay. As far as the card to pay, you said Gypsy sent money, correct?
Cash, yeah.
Okay, so right here I have the text messages where she says, darling, I'm so sorry I didn't say goodnight. I was made to sleep on the front porch with bugs, which, if that's true, she could have left that night. But, anyways, she then says, I peed in the bushes. It's been rough. She then sends another text message. Darling, I'm not even sure what the password, but it's not one angel heart. It would be my name, Gypsy Rose, or one Gypsy Rose. The good thing is, if you forget it, you can write down your confirmation number and the card it was purchased with.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
And then I also took another screenshot that I just happened to see.
Is that a text message?
It is a text message. It is
What's
sent,
the date?
it is May 8th at 4:27 a.m.
Okay, you know what my thoughts are on the whole thing. I'm May 28th. Okay, what my
No,
thoughts
May
are on the
8th.
whole thing
Oh, wait,
too.
no. What are you saying May for? Did I say May? I meant June 8th.
June 8th. Okay.
Yeah, sorry if I said May.
I don't know. It might have been me, but let me write it down really quick. Let me put it on my computer or my little tablet. Let's see, May 8th.
No, no, no.
So
You keep saying May. June 8th.
oh, I keep saying May. Okay, sorry. You're
June
right. I
8th at
did. Okay.
4:27 a.m.
Okay. Hold on. I got to put that in here before I do anything else so I know it. Okay, so now that, since she did have access to a card, that also explains that she could possibly have been ordering some of the stuff like the lingerie. I do
Right.
think she had a lot of wigs that her mom, obviously we know her mom let
Well,
her wear the wigs, so her mom knew she had them. But, my thoughts on this whole thing too is that I think one of the things that Dee Dee did let Gypsy do is probably like wheel herself out to the mailbox and get the mail every day because she seemed to have a lot of access to the mail.
yeah. Well, yeah. She said that was her like chore or whatever. And
Oh, she did? Okay.
somebody said I did say May 1st, so apparently I did. But also, there's another text message I would like for you to look at on June 5th at 9:50 p.m. And this clearly shows she is ordering stuff online because she said, "Darling,
Well, I
what
agree
color?"
now that we know about the card. Anyway,
Yeah,
what was it? June what?
June 5th. She said, "Darling, what color restraints do you want? Black or pink?" So she's online shopping at that point.
Yep, you're right about. I've seen that one. I never noticed the card part, but I actually just didn't. I didn't notice it. Okay, but yeah, so I think she did have. Oh, and I was gonna. That reminds me of something. I have to say it because it's not on my list, and I'll forget. But the other thing we were talking about, whether or not she was like a quote unquote helicopter mom. I guess people are kind of reducing it to her being a helicopter mom. But one thing I wanted to say is that we know that that Dee Dee wasn't like, because people say, oh, if she was such a helicopter mom, how did Gypsy make these videos and stuff? And I think there's every reason to believe that, yes, Dee Dee went to the store. It takes a long time to go to Walmart and all that. I mean, and she slept at night with sleeping medicine. We know that. So I believe that somebody was trying to say that Dee Dee knew she was making these videos. And I thought that was ridiculous. But in addition to that, another thing that would say no, she did give her some freedom, and I think Gypsy probably fought back with her, like it was kind of like, no, you're not going to tell me what to do. And at a certain point, she got an attitude, like every teenager does. But Dee Dee also obviously let her go around Walmart by herself, like she got the knife at Walmart and stuff. So she did let her do different things like that. The fact that she lets her ride around Walmart and get things like that tells me that, of course, she left her at home and went shopping and stuff when she was old enough to be home alone.
Okay, so I want to say...
There's no reason to think she didn't.
I want to say you just kind of deflated the whole Gyp Stan's arguments, though, of her mom basically would not let her move without breathing around her neck. You just acknowledged she was able to go...
I never said that.
I know.
I never said that. All I said is she couldn't...
I said Gyp.
Oh yeah, no, I just say that she never let her have relationships. Nobody ever had an authentic relationship where she could speak freely with them, except for Dan and Nick, because Dee Dee was always there. Like even her neighbor Aaliyah said on camera, I've got that one too, but she said there was never a time where I could talk to Gypsy alone. And then once Gypsy started messaging her, I think that was a little bit different, but she said that on camera. So I was just saying Dee Dee didn't let her have any relationships, including with her own father.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is that proves that people are lying. If she was able to go to a store and do this, if she was able to take these pictures, if she was able to send these videos, and I do want to point out, we have proof, according to Gypsy's words, that Dee Dee absolutely knew about the videos because she sends a message to Nick, or maybe it's a video where she's apologizing because her mom found a video of her masturbating, and she says did she say it was Ruby or Demona had used Gypsy's hands to touch herself, to put it lightly, and that she got in trouble for it. We also know Dee Dee knew these types of pictures and stuff were being taken. Yes, rest in peace to the toothbrush, because those pictures were sent to her dad. We have the conversation.
No, that's not true either. I've got that all, because that's a big thing they say on the snark pages. It wasn't pictures. It was, she made a post on social media about how she was mad at her dad and everything. And, Mia saw it and Christy saw it. And there was a big exchange between Dee Dee and Christy, but it had nothing to do with pictures. They try to portray it as that. I can send it to you.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure part of the conversation says she shouldn't have sent that to her dad.
No, it's not. I'll show it to you. That is definitely the conversation about that, though.
Okay, I'm writing.
Even though the funny thing, well, it's not funny to me, but the interesting thing is that even when I've posted before they got me blocked out of all their snark pages, when I've posted it, they've said. They've made excuses for it, and tried to be wordsmiths about it or whatever. But no, she didn't. It wasn't pictures. It was text that she posted that was derogatory toward her dad.
Hold on, because somebody said it literally says disgusting pictures in the messages.
No,
I'm trying to see if I have them. Gypsy.
That one I'm positive about. I've got that one, so I'll post it on my YouTube, actually. I mean, on my TikTok tomorrow.
Yeah, and if somebody has the pictures where it says disgusting pictures, log off here, forward it to my inbox, and let's see it really fast if you have it, because I don't think I've ever sent that one.
I will tell you, too, one of the things that they've added on one of the snark pages is that they pull up a picture of Gypsy in a little bikini, like showing her butt. And they say that I wonder if this is the picture, and then they go forward from there, and now that's the one, and all that. But that didn't happen.
Okay, well, you send me what you have, and if somebody has that, send it to me super fast if you can. She sent dirty stuff to her dad, blamed it on Aaliyah. Oh yeah, that's right, because she blamed it on Aaliyah that it was sent.
Well, Dee Dee did. Dee Dee blamed it on Aaliyah, but they tried to say it was Gypsy. But yes, it was blamed on Aaliyah.
But that's the key word, sent and not posted.
Oh no,
You have
she
to pay
posted
attention
it.
to small
They say
details.
you're right. They do say sent, but it wasn't sent. It was posted, and it was not a picture. It was words.
Do you have proof that it was words?
Yeah, I do.
Like, do you have the actual post itself, I guess is what I'm asking? So that we
I
can
have the
see the date.
exchange. What I have is the exchange between Gypsy and Dee Dee, and it talks about that it's words. It's nothing about
You mean Dee
pictures.
Dee and
But
Christy?
what they're now trying to say is that that wasn't really Dee Dee. We don't believe that was Dee Dee. That was Gypsy talking to Christy, and I don't believe that either. That's made up. But
Do you mean Christy?
yeah, I have the whole exchange.
Do you mean an
I'll send it
exchange?
to you.
Do you mean an exchange between Dee Dee and Christy?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I'm pretty sure now that they're saying those disgusting photos and they're apologizing that Mia seen them on his phone.
It wasn't photos though. It was we're sorry you saw that disgusting. What she said about him was I don't know the exact wording because I don't even address that anymore. But I will. I'll send it to you.
Okay, let me make sure that nobody sent it in the meantime, just to see. To request.
Yeah. See, Chewy's mom saying it. That's one of the things a lot of the haters say is that now they don't even believe. Oh, that was Gypsy that did that. That wasn't even Dee Dee, and all that. And Dee Dee and Gypsy and Aaliyah actually addressed that in their messages back and forth that I'm sorry my mom I'm sorry my mom blamed that on you, she was mad and all that. So it was Dee Dee, but it's a big thing where they try to say no, that was Gypsy pretending to be Dee Dee.
Well, and then there was the what does it say? Her asking Mia to reach out to the men for her, and Gypsy, sorry, not Dee Dee. Gypsy says in one of her videos, or maybe it was a text exchange, I would have to go look in detail, but she says her mom found out about her secret account and what she was posting. So
Now, I agree with that last part. There's nothing about her wanting Aaliyah to contact men or anything, but yeah, she did say
not
that about the
Aaliyah,
account.
not Aaliyah, Mia.
Mia, no, what that was is that Gypsy said, Aaliyah, look at this guy. What do you think of him? It was about Dan. And and Mia was only, she was
Yeah.
young, and so everybody was like, that was wrong of Gypsy. Gypsy was in a house with her mom the whole time, but obviously that wasn't a good idea. And so they were saying, why would she reach out to her little sister and say, look at this guy, what do you think when he's 34 years old?
Yeah,
But she didn't ask Mia to reach out to him.
okay. I can't confirm or deny either way. I've not personally seen the messages.
Yeah, she was 10 years old. Nani says 10 years old. I think it was 10 years old. I'm not positive, but I think it was 10 years old.
Okay. What was the other things?
I think I'm done. I think that's my whole list because I just put it together real quick. I might think of something, later, but I don't have any more right now.
Somebody said, okay, I want to clear something up. People are saying no job, that you had a job, ghosting and all that. Yesterday, I said she didn't show up, that I had sent her the message. And I told y'all whenever she said afterwards that she did not have her notifications on.
I never have them on. Honestly, I never have them on for TikTok. I can't because it's just dinging a lot, and I don't want that. I don't want to hear that.
Right.
I get on it a lot. I check it whenever I have a free minute, but I don't use my notifications. It's just I missed a lot of lives actually because of that. Even on my even on the pro evidence side. Well, I don't know how to say it because I'm not like. I want Gypsy to be safe. I want her to be happy. I feel bad that she went through so much trauma. I want her to be healthy. But I'm not like, I don't think Gypsy should be, like a star or famous or anything because I think that could come across really bad to young kids. And, that's my thoughts on it.
Right. So,
and I don't think that people should be hating on a trauma victim and invalidating her trauma. That's my thoughts. I definitely don't like what I call haters. When I say haters, if I ever do say it, I'm trying not to say it on my page anymore because I've had people coming in talking about it. But when I say haters, I'm talking about people that make really gross pictures and just say disgusting things, and people that say there's no baby, and like Karma Collector. I mean, he's a POS in my opinion. I'm talking about those kind of people. I'm not talking about people that doubt this or that happened. That's not what I'm talking about.
Um, I am on the side of I don't think she experienced trauma. So that's
I
just
know.
my stance, and that's fine. I did have a note that I just looked at, and it does go back to what we were saying about the fabrication of the MVP. And sorry to circle back. I know this was a while back that we had this conversation, but we also have proof because on Dr. Phil, Rod literally said people do a lot of things for love, implying Gypsy unalived her mother to go get love, but also
I
he,
think that was her breaking point, definitely. I think that was her breaking point for sure.
I think it was
I think
her
it was
only.
like, I'm not going to I'm 24 years old. I know it. I've known it for 5 years. Like I'm not going to live this way anymore. I'm not going to be confined and restrained and, abused medically and physically and emotionally and,
But if she
all that.
thought, let me ask this, if she thought it was medical abuse that she was going through, how come after her and Nick ate at the Denny's, she was like, oh, I forgot I'm lactose intolerant. That was her continuing the con. She asked in the text messages about hospitals around him and wanting to be around them because she knew she
She
was
was,
not well.
she is lactose intolerant.
Okay, she may be, but I'm still saying she wanted to continue the I'm sick, but also if she's lactose intolerant, how did she down those brownies in the pizza? Like literally nothing they ordered that night. Oh, it was a
I mean,
Denny's.
my
It
daughter's
wasn't a
lactose
Denny's, it was a
intolerant
Waffle
and she
House.
eats
Sorry.
it. My daughter's lactose intolerant, but that doesn't mean she never breaks down and has pizza. She does. I mean, it gives her a really bad stomach ache, but I mean, and I think too, if you're raised your whole life, you're sick, you're sick, you're sick, you can't do this and you can't do that. Yeah, of course you've spent 3 days a week in a hospital. I mean, how are you going to imagine life without a hospital? Yeah, I believe she said that. I do.
Okay.
I mean, and the other thing is that it's like, I mean, I don't know. I guess okay, so the biggest thing for me that started me off, because I was in the snark pages because I was trying to look for information after I heard Becca, and the biggest thing for me was continuously hearing these people defend a mother putting her child in a wheelchair, and then when I realized not only was she constantly in a wheelchair, nobody saw her outside her house unless she was in that wheelchair, except for the woman that she knocked on her door and her husband took her to the hospital to meet Dan, and then Dan and his roommate and the other person, they saw her outside the wheelchair. And then when she was a kid, the family saw her jumping on the trampoline when Dee Dee got mad, and one other person saw her at a mattress store jumping from mattress to mattress. Other than that, nobody saw her outside of that wheelchair. They were shocked that she couldn't walk. They were
Okay.
absolutely shocked.
I want to address something in the comments where they said Becca Scoop's agent, FBI agent, knew it was medical abuse. That lady completely discredited herself and showed that she just did a Google check because she brought up the medicine cabinet. And let me tell you, if
No, I
somebody is being
disagree. I
medically
disagree.
abused, if somebody is being medically abused and overgiven medicine at that, there would not have been that stockpile. There just would not have been. Somebody said she was seen at the
That,
YMCA swimming. Do you have anything to confirm that?
Yeah, there's nothing. I'd be surprised. But you know what, Audrey, is that medical abuse isn't just over medicating. If that's what everybody's under the impression that it is, that's
No,
not
Gypsy.
true.
Gypsy says that was part of the abuse, is that she was over medicated. That's why I said that. There's picture
I've never
evidence.
heard her say that. Where
Can
did
you
she say that? I've never
can you
heard her
send
say
me the
that.
picture evidence? She's said it a lot.
I've never once heard her say that.
Okay. Well, she has. She said
I
it a
think
lot.
that she said she was overtreated, and she was. She was at the hospital all the time. She got MRIs and stuff on her back and her spine, and she was perfectly fine to walk. She got a muscle biopsy. I mean, she got tons of stuff.
Okay, let's
You
let's
know, I
go
mean,
let's go through a file really fast. Tell me if this sounds like an overtreated kid. Let's just pull up this one. So on 9/2, she had an appointment with a dental clinic. She checked in. 9/1/2009, she checked in for
We're going to talk about, let's talk about something besides teeth if we're going to talk about medical abuse,
I'm reading
okay?
down. I'm reading down the list of all of her appointments. It's a list of all of them. So optical, she went for an appointment on 7/16. Ophthalmology, she went on 5/15. These are all in 2009, just because that's the page I pulled up. She checked in. She went to the allergy clinic 5/13. She checked into dermatology 5/12. An emergency room visit for a G-tube problem, which was probably just them getting it clean. Who knows with her?
Now,
Because
wait, I have a quick question. I'm going to let you finish, but I have a quick question. Where are you getting this list? I don't know where you're getting this list.
it was just a recently dropped list by Miss Fancy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's not going to be a list it's not going to be a list that proves all the time she went. I mean, that doesn't exist. The medical
It
records
is.
haven't been.
It's a patient appointment summary report.
I know, but I'm saying that doesn't summarize all of her appointments that Dee Dee took her to everywhere. When she was taking her in repeatedly with her eardrums punctured, she was taking her to all different emergency rooms. That's how she did it, by taking her to different places, and that's how she stockpiled the medicine. You can't get that many prescriptions from one doctor.
This has the emergency room visits and everything on it. It's an appointment summary list. And it even says right here, like I had just read, ER visit, G-tube problem. So
Did you know that Dr. Beckerman, that treated her for 17 years, refused to give any of the medical records? Can you imagine what's on those?
No, we have records with his name on them.
I know, but it's not. He refused to turn in his medical records from his practice. The medical records we have say that Dr. Beckerman has treated her. When they requested records from Dr. Beckerman, Fancy herself says that they requested them repeatedly, and he never gave them to them.
Fancy was reading.
I would if she wants to say they did, I'd challenge her to release them, because it was 17 years. So that's a lot of records.
Okay, Fancy, you're in the chat, so you hear what's going on. Anyway, so all of these are like allergy clinic, dental, allergy, pharmacy, cardiology, dental, sleep study. Right here, it says Dr. Beckerman. Let's see, sleep clinic, pharmacy, Southern Tower. I don't know what that is for Southern Tower. Oh, it was an observation because of the dental caries. An acne and rash, pre-op eval, blah, blah, blah. But my point is on these lists, does this sound, and there's one appointment that I can tell you why it was canceled. It shows whether they checked in or not. But you got 403 canceled. 723 is a no-show. Obviously, that one's going to be a no-show. She was in prison at that point, because these are from 2015 at this point. 5/1/2015 canceled. 1/3/2014 canceled. 6/29/2014 canceled. 7/17/2013 no show. January 20th, 2013 canceled.
No, these are all follow-up. You realize that she canceled follow-ups repeatedly, right? She didn't even take her to follow-ups. If she was such a caring mother that was like so worried about her, she repeatedly canceled follow-ups.
Y'all, everybody keeps telling me bring Fancy up. No, this is going to be a one-on-one. I don't want people over talking each other. That's the reason why I haven't brought anybody else up.
Thank you.
For that reason, that was part of our discussion.
I wouldn't speak to Fancy. I would speak to Becca, but I would not speak to Fancy. There's no chance of that.
So, anyways, you got all of these. You also got all these ones that she did check in for. But my point is, she's going to follow-ups and everything as well.
No, she canceled a lot of follow-ups. That's what you were just reading. She canceled a lot of stuff.
But I have where she checked in for a lot of them too.
I'm not saying she didn't check in for any. I don't even know if it says follow-up or not, because I can't read it backwards. And I'll look at, I'm interested to look at that, because I honestly wouldn't put it by Fancy at this point to fabricate stuff. She's so desperate for attention, and she was commenting on one of my posts a little bit ago, and then she deleted it. She's desperate to get in the spotlight. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if she does fabricate it. I'm just saying I wouldn't put it past her. I'm going to have to look at those new records.
Can we agree to be respectful though? Like we don't have to say mean
I'm
things.
sorry. You're right. I apologize. I apologize. I
Another
shouldn't have
thing,
said that out loud on a live.
another thing we have right here, her history and her physical. On this though, there are codes to confirm these diagnoses. One of them being acute lymphoblastic leukemia 5. Remission 207382016. I reached out to a doctor, my friend who is a doctor, and asked, what are these? Of course, I cut off Gypsy's name and everything, and I just sent like the ending with the code numbers. And she said, it looks like lot numbers. Can you show me more? At that point, I brought it down, and again, I kept Gypsy's name off of it, and I did say to my friend, I said, let me open it so that I can tell you exactly what I said. I said, whenever she said, I don't know, it could have been lot numbers. I said, me either. That's why I asked, like if it has significant or whatever. I figured maybe you might know. And I know you cannot give advice or anything like that, but I thought I would ask. And that's whenever she asked, can you send a bigger thing? Because she did ask, is it next to all of the prescriptions? And I said, it's not prescriptions. I sent the photo. And she said, those are specific to what the EMR is that they are using for it. And I said, so does that mean that this person indeed did have leukemia? She said, yes, that is what it says. At age 5, a lot of that stuff on the diagnosis list cannot be faked. It's simply not possible. And that's directly from a doctor. Did you mute yourself? You did. Okay, I don't know why she muted herself. What happened?
Can you hear me?
I can now. I couldn't before.
Okay, sorry. I just had somebody come to my door and I had to get the door. I didn't know what was going on.
Excuse me. Sorry, y'all. I just swallowed air.
Fancy. See, Fancy can be disrespectful in the comments though, right, Fancy?
I didn't even see it. I was trying to read what was on your page.
No, I'm not calling you out. I'm just calling her out. But it's okay. She's just I don't know.
Yeah, y'all, there's no reason to antagonize each other. I know, and me and Fancy have had conversations too where we've disagreed on things. But we have done so respectfully, and I ask that all of y'all continue. I know some have not continued with being respectful, but let's be respectful to one another. Because I think that that's where a lot of these discussions fall apart. You're not antagonizing. You're not saying, I didn't see what you had said, honestly, Fancy. I'm just saying this is a blanket statement. If it applies, it applies. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's fine. But I think that's where
Audrey, it says, this is such a pointless conversation. Just so we can see kind of the way she works. This is such a pointless conversation. You have way more patience than me. So I guess that's not disrespectful in her book. I think if it was directed to her, it would be, but
I don't really think that's disrespectful to say that it's going nowhere, because there have been times we've went nowhere and we've just changed the subject. So I think that I could see where somebody
if
could
you
be
think it's
upset.
pointless, we don't have. Would you rather not have any further conversations then? I mean, I felt like it was a good conversation, but if it's pointless, then
I'm saying there have been times that we've had to come to, okay, let's stop this and move to the next one. That's what I was saying, is like there have been times we've discussed something and we've come to no conclusion, is what I'm saying by pointless, because sometimes that is pointless if you don't come to a conclusion, and that's okay. You know,
that's true.
It's agreeing.
That's true too.
But what
agreeing to disagree, right?
Yeah. What I'm trying to say though is, whenever you have a common civil conversation like this, even if you agree to disagree at the end of it, you're having a conversation without, and I don't want to throw this person under the bus, but they are very notorious for having a complete meltdown, Bree, because this conversation would have ended 10 minutes in with Bree. So, and like I said, I'm not trying to throw Bree under the bus. I'm just saying that's been continuous. Am I wrong to say that, Truth Drop?
Now the Bree's gotten upset about things.
Yeah, the conversations end because she starts to yell over the other person.
Yeah, and I feel, and of course, I'm going to have to say my view on it is that a lot of times they bait her and they say things that are just ridiculous to her, being her friend and stuff. You know, being friends with Gypsy, I think she knows a whole lot more about what what has gone on in the background that none of us know or will ever know, maybe never know. But yeah, I do know that Brie gets very upset, and I wish she didn't because she's got so much knowledge. But yeah, that happens a lot.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is because we've been able to be calm even when we disagree, that's how come the conversations went further than those conversations go. And that's why I ask people to try to be respectful because again, we're not going to get anywhere if all we are doing is yelling over each other.
Right.
So, okay,
Okay, so I have one last thing, and then if you have anything else, it's up to you. I actually just told my neighbor that I'd be over later because I know I was going to only go for an hour, so 45 minutes. But one other thing I wanted to just mention, I hear this a lot too, not as much anymore, but a lot of people will say that there was a fraud investigation going on, and Dee Dee and Gypsy both knew it, and you know that somehow the crime culminated in the crime and all that, and that's just not true. Like, I actually got this from Into the Weeds, which I know a lot of you guys probably like them and follow them, but Greene County did confirm that there was never a fraud investigation done, and there wasn't one in the works or anything like that. So,
still,
I just wanted to say that one.
why did they originally state that? Because I feel like they did. I want to go find that into the weeds.
It's all over the place. Yeah, it's just been a rumor that's been all over the place. I don't know why they stated it.
Do you know which document is that in on hers? I'm going to pull open her documents right now because I want to be able to read it. I can't see it on your screen. Like it's
Okay, if you go to the posts, you're gonna have to scroll down a little bit because they've been covering some other stuff. This is pretty old, so it's way back there. It's before the
I'm in
emails
the
came
Google
out
Drive
and all that.
itself.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm not. I don't know if it's even in the Google Drive. Maybe, but I haven't checked. Where I found it was on YouTube, and you go to their posts, you know, the post tab, and you got to scroll down quite a ways because it was back before they released the emails and all that.
I found it. So it says, we have researched your request you emailed on 4/6/25 for any records related to an investigation charge or case involving Claudine Blanchard and Gypsy Rose Blanchard concerning fraud. Specifically, police reports, investigation files, records, any documents from any investigation into the fraud perpetrated during the time of 2011 to 2014 and after the murder of Claudine Blanchard. It is our position that no such fraud case exists, therefore we have nothing to provide.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to clear that up because it's something that I hear a lot. Not as much anymore, but I used to hear it quite a bit. So
yeah, and somebody said they think they've seen it on the news, and I feel like that's where I've seen it too. So y'all, newscasters notoriously say things that sometimes are wrong. So I'm looking at the evidence myself. I agree that is what it says.
Yeah, and they did say in a press conference that maybe I think they said a fraud investigation is impending or something like that. And that was also the same time where it was the press conference was where he said things are not as they appear. That was all the same time frame or same, broadcast. It was within the first few days of the crime.
Yeah, people are saying it was the cops that said it. I feel like I have seen that, but I've never looked at this statement, but I will agree with you that is what they are saying. Gypsy said when she met Mike for the first time, she brought a big stack of her fraud files. I don't know about that.
I never heard that.
Can you send me that? Broadcasters do no such thing. Is that sarcasm?
That has to be sarcasm.
So, okay, yes, I will agree with you that that's what that says.
Yeah, so that was it. I just wanted to clear that one up too. Those were the only ones I could come up with off the top of my head because we talked about going live tonight at like 5, and I had a dinner. I was going next door for dinner, so I made it quick, and I had about an hour and a half to try to get stuff together, and I know I'm not prepared. Somebody said that in the comments. I think I've probably seen it a few times. I haven't been paying too much attention to the comments, but I agree. I'm not prepared like I would like to be prepared, but I do appreciate the conversation for sure. And I
Yeah.
wanted to take the opportunity to have the conversation. I didn't want to, because too, you had invited me twice and I didn't show up because I didn't even know it. And then it was like, I didn't want you to feel like I'm sitting here saying, because I asked you, I said, would you be willing to discuss on your panel? And you said yes. And then you went ahead and just invited me, which I appreciated, but it was like I felt bad because I didn't want you to. And I think people got the impression, I got a couple of comments like I just ditched out, like you know what I mean? So I thought, well, I'm going to go on tonight for sure right now. And then, I'm not that prepared, but I'm going to just go with what I know in my head, and try to gather a few things. But that's about it. So I'm not totally prepared. That's true. I agree.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say both of us weren't necessarily prepared. Like, I had small talking points and we didn't even really get to a lot of them, and that's fine because I knew that you had somewhere you had to go. The only thing we discussed is that we wanted to both discuss the micro deletion. We didn't say what each other's talking points were, but I do think that me and you should get together and say, here's the talking points, not even say what stance we have. That way we both can be prepared to talk about those, because I didn't know anything else you were going to bring up, so I did off the top of my head as well. So
That'd be awesome. Now tell me this really quick because I'm typing this into my little notepad and
okay.
I'm not very okay, so I'm gonna send you Gypsy the thing about her and her dad, the post.
Okay.
And then what else was I gonna and then we're gonna look up about what were we gonna
Plan,
about plan B,
plan A, plan
plan
B, and
B
plan C.
or whatever, yeah. Was there anything else?
Hold on, because I have ADHD, so I've wrote it on 19 different pages. Um, the flowers, the flower conversation, I don't even know where we would look for that, but if we can find anything about the flower, but I do know
I
that
mean, I feel like we resolved that I feel like we resolved that in a way because, we don't know I guess we have Nick saying via via NPG Cornerstone that she did say she sent the flowers, and then we know that she did have a credit card.
well, and we know that
So
her plan was to make Dee Dee like him and accept him. So, okay. So then we'll scratch
so
off
we
the
need to see.
flowers.
Yeah.
So then we have the convo about pics with dad. Let me write these
Yeah.
all in one spot instead of 100 places. And plans, A, B, C. And y'all, also, you can make recommendations of things you think we should discuss. That's fine too. So,
Okay, yeah, I will. I'll figure something out. I'll see what I'm gonna do, I think, is probably kind of look at my comments if I get comments from people that are on the other side of things from where I'm looking at it. And I might just try to address those comments. I don't know, because I think we did cover a lot. I actually have a whole thing that I'm trying to put together about based off of the
oh,
fact you're not going to like this, but it's based off of the fact that Becca says the chromosome disorder was known from the beginning. So I have my thoughts on that. And again,
I
Becca's not a
disagree.
medical nurse. She never was, but
I disagree that it was known from the beginning. And I mean, you can talk about what she said, but at the end of the day, I've kept very much anything anybody has said, I've kept separate from other people because nobody's responsible for another person's claims or words.
right. No, and I agree. Like I'm taking the ball and running with it because Becca's been the one that everybody's been following, and I mean, not that they're not following you. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying Becca's kind of like this source of knowledge, and she's a nurse, even though she wasn't a medical nurse. But it's like because there's I'm not even necessarily. My whole stance is that Becca is well. I'm not going to talk about Becca either right now, but what I'm saying is this: I'm just going to make some content that I was going to. We don't have to even discuss it because, like you say, there's nothing in the records that says they knew she had a chromosome disorder. But Becca's been the big knowledge bank on this, where everybody goes for their facts and stuff. And the fact that she brought it up and said it 3 times, I'm going to take that and I'm going to go my direction with it, because if what Becca says is gospel, I'm gonna take it as gospel. If she says that microcephaly means that they knew she had a chromosome disorder, and she's I'm just gonna respond to that. But that doesn't really, I guess that doesn't even have anything to do with our conversation.
Right. Well, and me and you have discussed that there's many things that can cause microcephaly, which I will tell the chat. I know a decent amount about microcephaly. The lady that was my maid of honor at my wedding was pregnant with a young baby, and thankfully the baby's doing decent. But that child has microcephaly as well as lissencephaly. So me and her sat down and researched a lot of things, and a microdeletion or a chromosomal disorder is not the only thing that will cause microcephaly. Granted, yes, Gypsy's is related to her microdeletion. Like that's
Obviously,
that's
yeah.
not disputed.
Yeah, it would have to be.
And
Yeah,
that's not what we're
undisputed.
saying. We're just saying there are other causes for it. But I want you to think on this since you brought this up. Your stance is that they did not know there was a chromosome disorder from the very beginning?
My stance?
Yeah, I'm asking.
No, my stance is that it wasn't documented, but I believe that Dee Dee did know about it. That's my stance right now, yes.
Okay. As you go through that, I want you to think about what we were talking about where you sent the umbrella of symptoms. I want you to think about statistically, what are the chances that everything that in your mind she fabricated for medical symptoms, how did she nail every single one on the head? That's what I want you to ponder while you're going over it. Because statistically...
Can I answer that right now? Because I already have the answer.
Yeah.
I mean, this is my answer for now. My answer is based off of me Googling. Again, like I said, how I feel about Google, but we have used it in this conversation, so it's useful. But when I Google symptoms common among chromosome disorders, and that's just what I would say based off of an AI. I used to work in technology, but based off of an AI search, that would mean it would have to be common among, for it to come up on that list, it would have to be common among chromosome disorders, period. It would have to be symptoms that each chromosome disorder has. And when I do that and I pull up that list, every one of those that comes up for a chromosome disorder is one of the symptoms that Dee Dee said Gypsy had. So you're right in the fact that, yes, they all align with of course they do, because that's what she has, period. But like, they also align with any chromosome disorder. So if Dee Dee did know she had a chromosome disorder, they fit that roadmap too, before the microcephaly was ever discovered. That's where I'm at with it.
Right. And that's what I'm saying is as you go through this, I want you to take a note over to the side and write down ones that she didn't hit. And then look at the ones that she hit versus the ones that she did not hit on. And tell me if she did not hit on symptoms and look further than like a GI thing or GI, Chat GPT. I don't know why I said GI.
I don't even use Chat GPT. I don't want it on my phone because I feel like they can track me or something, or they can like, I don't like the government. I don't know. I had a roommate that was...
Well, Google, I want you to go to like medical publications, specifically medical publications, because they're going to give you a lot more. I want you to go through those and like just look up like trisomy and the things that it has, Down syndrome and the things that it has, because those are known chromosome disorders. Start there is what I would recommend. And then, like I said, I want you to make a list of she had it and mom got her treated for it. She didn't have it and mom got her treated for it, and see how many come up on one side versus the other, because statistically, and that's where I made most of my decision, was I realized she's not getting her treated for a grip of things. And statistically, if she was just going off of known issues, there's so much more she could have had her treated for.
So let me ask you this with relation to that. When we look at the list of symptoms with I think it could apply the same way. When we look at the list of symptoms for all the different and things that are caused by the her specific microdeletion, we could take so many off that list and say she didn't have them. So how does that differ? And this is a serious question.
Which ones could we say that are on the list that she didn't have? Let me ask that, because I've not really ran into many.
Well, I'm not looking at it right now, but there's a lot. I mean, the ones that if you look at, do you have it? Do you have it in a screenshot where you could screen share and let me read the screenshot?
Not the phone I use. I don't have any memory on. None of my screenshots are on it. They're all on this one, so it would be reversed. And I don't
I have the
know.
same problem. I just got a new phone for my birthday from over on Starfalls Live, but I had the same problem. I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, so I don't have the micro. I can't look at them right now because I can't look at them. But
Okay.
there's so many things that she didn't have symptoms. There's a lot that she did that Dee Dee said she had symptoms for, but there's also a lot that she didn't have symptoms for. I'm trying to think of what they would be off the
That's
top
what
of
I'm
my head.
saying. Is
I
look at the
never even looked
things.
at it from that angle, but I've seen there's just so many things that she didn't have, you know. I mean, she didn't have any muscular problems, we know that. I mean, that's one of them.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is look at that. And like the muscular problem, I know that's a big conversation because of the wheelchair, which we ended up basically just agreeing to disagree on for the most part, which is fine. But I want you to look up again, and I will do the same. And like you said, there were things that she didn't get her treated for that are on that list, but there are things that she didn't get her treated for that are not on that list. And statistically, if she was just throwing a ball in the air and saying, this is the issue I'm going to come up with today, she would not have hit on issues that are specific to that deletion every single
What
time.
about leukemia? Is leukemia specific to it?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll actually Google that right now. Link between lymphoblastic leukemia and microdeletion 1Q21 point. God dang it. Point one.
Did you get Fancy's the medical records she released, or did you just get them off YouTube? I'm just curious if you got like a separate file of the new records that Fancy released, the new medical records.
She has released the new ones over on YouTube. The other ones I have are from a Google Doc.
Yeah, like the 200 and something.
Yes.
Okay, I have those. I was wondering if what she put on YouTube was what you had because I saw those, but I'm just interested to take a better look at them and see what I think about them.
So it says that there's an underlying genetic abnormality, and it gives the genetic code, can increase the risk of developing leukemia, most often acute myeloid leukemia, but also acute lymphoblastic leukemia.
And that's according to the microdeletion that she has, her specific one.
Yeah, according to the
Okay.
Google AI, because I just pulled that up rather than reading through a whole medical publication.
Yeah.
It says
Okay.
all and other the 1Q abnormality, specifically the 1Q abnormality is where it comes from.
Okay. I was just thinking, I wondered if, you know how you pull up the 1Q121 dot
Yeah.
one or whatever it is? I don't know that by heart because I just don't. But I just wondered if it came up in that list as that leukemia could be one of the, I want to say, I can't think of the word, but repercussions of having that chromosome, that microdeletion.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yep. So just
Well,
like I said, make a list, look at it that way, and see where you come to on the conclusion. Because I have said from day one, I don't think that she was medically abused. I absolutely do think there was an ongoing con though with charities.
and see, oh, that's one more thing I want to mention. What do you
Okay.
think about the fact that, because I know Becca takes that stance too, that she was just like a fraud and she was, all that. But like, I still see it as a mental illness and I see it as Munchausen's. And her mom did the same thing to her. Did you know that? She didn't do it
Um,
on that high of a level, but she did do it to her.
I've not seen proof. I've just heard words that her mom supposedly done it.
Yeah, like her family, again, like I said, I don't know. So you don't take the family's. Well, yeah, you said you do because you said the grandpa said she was on the CPAP machine. So you do take the family's. You do listen to what the family says, right?
Well, yeah, I
Because
said
I've got a video of her brother talking about, or no, I think it's her brother and her sister and someone else. I got it from Starfall. It's talking about the fact that that her mom did the same thing. Like she wouldn't let her play, and she would say she's sick, she can't, so she treated her that way. She didn't take her, from what I saw, they didn't mention that she took her to the doctor all the time and had all these tests done on her, but I always felt like because of the way her mom treated her and what her mom did to her, that was why she did it. Because Gypsy herself has said, I don't think of my mom as a monster, like she doesn't. I think she feels like her mom just had a really weird, Dee Dee said, like, we can't live without each other. If one of us dies, the other one's going to go shortly after, something like that, but so it was kind of like, I always felt like it was kind of like she just was almost infatuated with Gypsy because that was her daughter and she didn't have a man except.
And like, I want to address where you said I take the family's word. Whenever I said, is there proof with it? I believe Grandpa because there's the picture of the machine in her crib. That's why I believed him about the breathing issues as a baby. It's not that I take everything they say as fact. I'm saying he said it and there's something to support it, that picture. So if there's something to support the families saying that, she made Dee Dee sick and all this, I'll look at it.
I mean, do you feel like when he talked about the feeding tube that he was making it up for some reason?
No, I already said that he wasn't making it up. You said he ate French fries, and I said you can eat French fries, and her medical file acknowledges she can eat foods.
Oh, okay. I was just curious if you took that one or not, because a lot of people say, he says she didn't need no feeding tube. She ate with us at the table, whatever we were eating, so I just didn't know if you took that as that she did eat at the table and didn't need the feeding tube and ate whatever they were eating at the table. That's what I was saying.
Her medical file says all over it she can eat. That she just wasn't getting enough.
I know, I just felt like it said, I only saw it say mashed potatoes. That was all I saw that it said that she ate. Other than that, it was Pediasure. Did you see other stuff or no?
Mom said that's all she's willing to eat or something along those lines. And that's the reason why she was coloring them in different colors. She didn't say she can't eat anything else. She just said that's all she will eat. So I feel like that's a very different assumption. She didn't say that's all she can eat.
That's another one that I didn't notice that she said she wouldn't eat it. I just noticed that that's what she was eating. So I'm gonna have to look that one up too, because I didn't notice that she said that's all she would eat.
Yeah, that's all she would eat, and that's the reason why she had resorted to coloring them, is so that it would be
all right.
So, but I thank you for coming out.
We've got good stuff to go back on. Thank you too, and your chat was pretty nice. I appreciate that. I mean, I don't think they were disrespectful. I didn't pay a lot of attention, but I didn't feel like they were disrespectful, and I appreciate that a lot. I really do.
Yeah, and I didn't see too many, and whenever I did, or whenever people were like, hey, there's something going on, I called it out. That's something that I try to keep very, I don't want to say sacred, but I feel like kind of sacred is I don't let people get super shitty in my chats. I don't let people come up that I know have super shitty attitudes. I try to keep it informative over here and not fighting. So
yeah, I like it. And honestly, you're the only person that I've had other people ask me to come into their lives and talk, and I haven't done it. I'm like, no, I'm not coming on your live. You've got your own mods, you've got all your people in there. Like, I don't trust it. But I felt like from our DMs that we were pretty authentic, and anyway, I appreciate it, and I will talk to you soon.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll be in communication with you about the I'll probably just send you a link to the document that I'm talking about that talks about the post on Facebook with Christy and Dee Dee talking about it. So
okay, yeah, if you would please, because like I said, if you have something that I haven't seen, I would like to see it. So
yes, and you've shown me something too. I did not know about the credit card. Never knew about the credit card.
Yeah.
And I've argued about the credit card before, not knowing. So I don't like it when I don't know what I'm talking about. I promise you I don't do that often. I usually have something to back it up, but I never saw any proof that she had one. So
I feel like there's so much in the case, it's easy to not know a simple detail at times. And I think that's something that people do need to give grace for. So
yes, thank you. And I think these conversations help because that way we can both exchange information that we may or may not have.
Right, exactly. Yes. And all of my chat is saying thank you to you for coming up and that it was a productive conversation, and they do appreciate that it was respectful. So thank you all. So
All right, you guys have a great night.
All right. Bye. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. I don't know how to drop you. Oh, there you go. Okay. So thank you guys all for